After much anticipation, it's finally time to start the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. Hold on to your seats because this is the DRC. Our first 8 drivers have arrived here at Race Canyon for our first ever Diecast Rally Championship event. Joining me in the studio is none other than 2D.
And I have been waiting a long time for this day. I really think we're taking diecast racing to a whole nother level here in 2020.
Let's go over the rules for round 1 in the rally event. Each driver will get 1 solo run down the canyon. All 8 drivers will advance on to round 2. A point will be awarded for each checkpoint and for crossing the finish line, as well as a bonus point for a big air finish.
I'm hoping to see some big air today.
Up first in the number 1 car is JC Kalma driving the Lancia Stratos.
That's a real nice one there. That's not a Hot Wheels. That's actually made by Tomica.
You know, I believe that's one of the first Tomicas to ever take the track in the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League.
I believe the first one was back in the JDM tournament, if I'm correct.
That's right. It was that purple car. I forget the name. Nice driving there by JC Kalma. He makes it past the finish line and will get 4 points. He did not quite get enough air for the big air bonus.
That's right. In order to get that bonus point, you have to have your car completely past the finish line before it makes contact with the track.
That's still a good start for Team Lancia. JC Kalma is just 1 point shy of a perfect score for the first round.
If you want that bonus point, you have to go all out at the end of the track. That's something that can be intimidating for a rookie driver.
Up next in the number 3 is Muscletone 17, driving the Subaru WRX STI.
It's great seeing a Subaru out there on the track. Of course, you've got to have it in rally racing.
Muscletone makes it past the first checkpoint.
Oh my goodness!
Wow!
Whoa!
He rolled that car 2 times, but somehow he's still going.
I think something might have gotten loose when he rolled it. Yeah, he's not making it up that hill.
Muscletone 17 will end his run with 3 points. He passes the first 3 checkpoints. We've got to take another look at that wreck. Look at this.
If you're going for a jump, you have to be going straight. Looks like he came off the top of that crest at an angle, and that almost cost him that 3rd point.
Yeah, that was an impressive recovery. At one point, he was up on 2 wheels. He was trying to limp his way to the finish line, but I think something just got knocked loose.
Yeah, taking a tumble like that, they're going to need to check that car over twice before they bring it back for round 2.
Up next in the number 5 car is a fan favorite, Dylan, driving the 2008 Lancer Evolution.
Everybody seems to love the Evo.
Well, it certainly made a statement in the first season of the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League.
He's having some trouble over the bridge.
Oh, no!
Ouch!
Well, it didn't take very long for us to have our first major wreck in the DRC.
That might have been one of the worst wrecks we've ever seen on this channel.
Hey, if you like big air and major wrecks, hit that subscribe button because there's a lot more where that came from.
His trouble started when he went onto the bridge right here. He popped that back wheel up. It was off the side of the track. That really could have been a lot worse if he fell off that bridge.
It's amazing to see a wreck like that and still be able to say that it could have been a lot worse.
I mean, it could have.
Hey, I agree. Rally racing is one dangerous sport. Dylan's on the board with 1 point. He's going to have a lot of work to make up in the next round.
Up next in the number 7 is Kieran Moran in the 1970 Ford Rally Escort RS 1600.
A nice mix of classic and modern rally cars taking the track in this first event.
I just love seeing them fly over that hill. Whoa!
A hard hit into the wall. Is he going to make it? Oh, he was so close to getting to the finish line.
Oh, wow.
Kieran Moran does pick up 3 points for passing the first checkpoints. He literally came within inches of making it to the finish line.
I think he knocked something loose when he hit that wall. Maybe something loose in his head.
That was a hard hit. Let's take another look at it right here. Comes out of that turn and boom.
He was going full speed around the corner. I'm not sure if he didn't see where he's going or if he just lost control. But Race Canyon is a dangerous track.
Kieran Moran currently tied in 2nd place with Muscletone 17.
I hope this next run isn't a horror story.
Uh-oh.
We've got Stephen King in the number 8 Ford Escort Rally.
A very nice car. I love the details they put on this one.
Yeah, it's got front and side tampos, which is pretty rare, along with that spoiler on the back.
He catches some nice air coming over the hill.
Here we go again.
Stephen King slides out of control and he's not going to make it up the hill for the finish.
A lot of drivers having trouble in that last section of track. Winning in the DRC is not just about speed, it's about having control.
That's right, it's a very challenging section of track to navigate. You're coming off of a jump into a banked 180 corner, and then you've got to straighten it out to get to the finish.
Today's instant replays are brought to you by 3dbotmaker.com. From diecast racing entertainment to track accessories, you'll find it all at 3dbotmaker.com.
Up next in the number 13 car is Michael E. driving the 1985 Porsche 911 Rally.
Another blast from the past, you know, like those 80s cars.
This car sits a little higher than the other ones. We'll see if that makes any difference here.
Man, that view never gets old.
Having some trouble coming off the turn. I think he rolls backwards.
I think his car stalled out on him. What a shame, too, he was right there.
Man, that last hill is really plaguing the drivers in this first round. Let's take another look at what happened. Right there, catching some nice air coming over that hill, but watch right here, hits the side wall.
I think he hit it a second time, that's what popped his car up in the air.
And look at how close he got to that finish line. If he had just leaned forward in his seat, I think he could have got it.
Michael E. joins a four-way tie for second place with 3 points.
So far, JC Kalma, the only driver to actually finish the course.
And look who it is in the number 23 car, Jar Jar Binks 98, and the 1970 Datsun 510.
Jar Jar Binks certainly a controversial character in the Star Wars universe. What did you think about him?
I mean, I kind of like Jar Jar.
Misa thinks that you are crazy, and when you have a look at that, the second driver to actually complete the course is Jar Jar Binks 98.
Jar Jar's the man, or should I say, Jar Jar's the Gungan.
The force was apparently with him, but not enough force to get that big air bonus. You can see right here his front tires touching the track before the body of the car cleared the finish line.
I was starting to wonder if anybody can make it past the finish line besides JC Kalma. Now we've got 2 drivers tied for first place with 4 points.
And here's our last driver for the day in the number 24 car. It's Jeff in the Volkswagen Scirocco GT24.
Jeff, it's just Jeff?
Yeah, that's the name he signed up under.
I mean, there's a lot of Jeffs out there.
True, but how many Jeffs do you know driving a Volkswagen Scirocco?
Looks like he's going to take that Scirocco past the finish line, and he does.
Jeff will be our 3rd driver to actually complete the course, and he's going to be tied for first with 4 points. Let's take another look at that run. Nice air coming over the hill. He taps the sidewall but does not lose control.
Let's see that jump at the end.
There he goes, just not quite enough speed to get that big air bonus. If he had got it, he would be all by himself in first place.
That was definitely some nice driving by Jeff.
And here's a look at the final results from round 1. JC Kalma, Jar Jar Binks 98, and Jeff all tied with 4 points each in first place. We've got Muscletone 17, Kieran Moran, Stephen King, and Michael E. all tied with 3 points in second place. And all the way at the bottom with 1 point is Dylan, who is driving the Mitsubishi Evo. He's going to have a lot of work to make up in round 2 because the bottom 2 drivers will be eliminated. Welcome back, I'm 3D.
And I'm 2D.
And you're watching the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League. We're back with round 2 of the first event in the DRC, and this time, they'll be going head to head.
Oh yeah, bring on the action.
Tell me, 2D, what do you think about this new series so far?
I love it. It's way different than anything we've ever done. The track itself is a challenge, and I'm on the edge of my seat every time a car drives down Race Canyon.
Let's go over the rules for round 2. Hey, that should say round 2, not round 1.
Where's the graphics guy?
Sorry about that.
New guy.
Anyways, drivers will go head to head in 2 races. The bottom 2 drivers in points will be eliminated at the end of the round. 1 point will be scored for each checkpoint and the finish line, 2 points for a first place finish, and 1 bonus point for a big air flying finish.
We didn't get to see any big air last round, but I've got my fingers crossed for this one.
Same here, 2D. First up, we've got Jar Jar Binks 98 driving the number 23 car, that's the Datsun 510. He's going up against Dylan in the number 5 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. If you remember, Dylan had that bad wreck in the last round, and he is in desperate need for some points here.
Jar Jar starting off with 4 points, and Dylan only has 1. So he's got a lot of ground to make up.
Looking good so far as he's in the lead. Can he make it all the way to the finish?
I don't know.
Oh, and he tumbles across the finish line.
That's one way to get across it.
Despite being on his roof, that's actually a good start for Dylan in points as he picks up 6, bringing his total score up to 7.
What happened to my man Jar Jar? He didn't even make it past the 3rd checkpoint.
Jar Jar having some trouble coming off that jump, hits the inside wall, and that sends him sliding on his side.
Man, 3D, we are only 1 race in, and things are already getting crazy.
That's what rally racing is all about. Here they go with their second race. The lane positions have been switched.
Jar Jar with 6 points, Dylan with 7. Both of them are going to need to score some points here if they want to be safe from elimination.
Dylan once again in the lead, flying over that jump, loses control, and he's gonna stop just short of the finish line.
Wow, he really needed those points. If he could just roll a little bit further, that would have been 2 additional points added to his score.
Dylan adds 9 points to his score, bringing it up to 10. Jar Jar Binks with 5, bringing his score up to 9. That puts Jar Jar Binks in the hot seat for elimination.
That's right, keep in mind that the bottom 2 in points at the end of this round will be going home.
Up next, we have Muscle Tone 17 in the number 3 Subaru WRX STI.
Someone in the comments said it's either WRX or STI.
Look, we're just going with the name that's written on the bottom of the car. That way, if someone wants to buy that model, they know what to look for.
Fair enough.
We also have Kieran Moran in the number 7 Ford Escort.
Yeah, some people complained about the way we said Moran as Moran in the last video.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we get names from all around the world. I mean, we're gonna say some things wrong.
Speaking of things going wrong, that Ford is upside down, and Muscle Tone runs out of momentum to make it up the last hill.
Amazingly enough, Kieran was able to slide that vehicle across the 3rd checkpoint. Let's take another look. He catches a lot of air coming off that hill, but that makes it very difficult for him to have enough time to align his car to go into that turn at the correct angle.
Impressive reaction time by Muscle Tone. Getting around that Ford, he did make some contact, and I think that's what slowed him down going into that last hill.
Here we go, the drivers have switched lanes with Kieran in the number 7 car on the inside.
He had a fast start in the last race. He just needs to keep it on all 4s.
Easier said than done. This is probably one of the most challenging diecast racing courses out there.
And he's over again.
Another disappointing run for Kieran, but look at Muscle Tone 17.
He slides down the hill to pick up the 2 extra points for the first place win.
It's not looking good for Kieran on the points board. He ends this round with only 9 points. That currently puts him in the bottom 2.
Looks like he wrecked twice in the same spot, but had so much speed going into that turn that he was able to slide past that 3rd checkpoint.
Yeah, if he didn't make it that far on the track, he would definitely be all the way at the bottom in points.
A nice finish for Muscle Tone 17. He will be safe from elimination in this round.
Kieran and Jar Jar both tie with 9 points. If it does come down to a tie in overall points to determine the bottom 2, their ranking will be decided by the points scored in today's round. So technically, Kieran will be ranked higher than Jar Jar for this round.
Well, right now, both of them are in danger of elimination.
Up next, we have Jeff.
Last name?
Nope, but he'll be driving in the number 24 Volkswagen Scirocco.
And driving in the number 8 Ford Escort Rally is Stephen King.
Jeff is coming into this round with 4 points, Stephen King with 3.
We've had several people claiming to be Jeff, but I mean, how do we really know?
Will the real Jeff please stand up?
Side by side on that jump, and Stephen King pulls ahead.
And I think we've just witnessed our first big air flying finish by Stephen King in the number 8 Ford Escort Rally.
That was a great race. I need to see that finish one more time.
That was the most competitive race of the day so far. Look at these drivers coming down the bridge, side by side. They both hit the jump at the same time, Stephen King pulling ahead going around that corner. And here comes that flying finish.
Here we go.
He's got it.
Yes.
You can see right there, Stephen King's car is completely past the finish line while it's still in the air.
Very impressive. That is what we call a perfect run. He gets 4 points for all the checkpoints, 2 points for the first place finish, and that big air bonus at the end adds a total of 7 points to his score.
He's already at 10 points after the first race. Let's see what he can do on this one.
Jeff falling behind in that Scirocco.
Stephen King flying over the hill, manages to come around that turn nice and clean. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Superman, move over. There's a new high-flying hero in town, and his name is Stephen King.
That is what I've been waiting to see ever since we started this series.
Superb driving by Stephen King. Look at the way he handles that jump. Right into that turn, straight to the finish.
Here it is.
And just look at that right there.
Man, that is just beautiful.
He turned that Ford Escort into a rocket ship.
He may need to upgrade to a pilot's license after that.
I think so.
I think we need to see that one more time.
I couldn't agree more. Here's one more look at Superman Stephen King in the number 8 Ford Escort Rally.
Not too bad of a run for Jeff either. He did make it past the finish line on that last race. That gives him 12 points. But the real hero here is Stephen King with 2 perfect runs, bringing his total score up to 17 points.
Very impressive. That's going to give him a nice cushion going into the 3rd round. Up next in the number 1 car, we have JC Calma in the Lancia Stratos. He's racing against Michael E. in the number 13 Porsche.
I'm cheering for the Stratos. In a world dominated by Hot Wheels, it would be nice to see a Tomica do well.
Yeah, the Tomicas are not known for being fast on the track.
Is it Tomica or Tomica?
Tomato, tomato. All we really care about is if it's fast.
Michael E. flips that Porsche over.
And JC Colma with a strong finish. He'll pick up those 2 extra points, adding 6 to his score. That Stratos does not appear to be the fastest car on the track, but it's consistently passing the finish line.
The same cannot be said for Michael E. in the number 13 Porsche. He comes up just shy of the 3rd checkpoint.
He lands that jump with 2 wheels on the side of the track. That is just a recipe for disaster.
Look at how well JC Colma avoided that collision. Quick reaction time is what rally racing is all about.
Michael E. in danger of elimination. He only got 2 points on that race, bringing his total score to 5. He's really going to need a first place win if he wants to stay alive.
The Porsche definitely has the speed over the Stratos in this race, but I think it's really going to come down to this jump right here.
Michael E. over the hill. Oh no! Michael E. wrecks again before the 3rd checkpoint.
Whoa!
Did you see that?
I think I did.
That looked like a big air flying finish, and yes, it is confirmed that was a big air flying finish by JC Colma and the Lancia Stratos.
I did not expect to see that because he appeared to be going a lot slower, especially in comparison to the Porsche. But you can see right here, he gains speed in the big turn. He goes flat out on the straight. And yes, there it is. You can clearly see his tires have not touched the ground yet.
A great performance by JC Colma as he climbs his way up the leaderboard, tying for first place with Stephen King.
Wow, I really didn't expect to see him all the way up there in first place.
We are going to have to say goodbye, though, to Michael E. in the number 13 car and Jar Jar Binks 98 in the number 23. Jar Jar and Kieran both had 9 points, but since Kieran scored 6 today and Jar Jar only scored 5, Jar Jar will be the one going home.
Misa.
Don't.
What?
No, don't do it.
How rude.
Seriously, 2D?
What? I liked episode 1.
Anyways, round 2 is in the books as the top 6 drivers advance on to round 3. Welcome back to the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League. I'm 3D, and I'm joined once again by 2D.
The sun is out, and it looks like another great day for racing, if you ask me.
Do you have any predictions for round 3?
You know, with this track, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen. Stephen King and JC Colma are both on top with 17 points. JC Colma, I really believe, is the driver to watch. He's been very consistent throughout rounds 1 and 2.
JC Colma driving the number 1 Lancia Stratos.
Ooh, Lancia. I didn't know he spoke French.
Well, apparently that's how it's pronounced.
You know, 3D, I'm just too American to make that ch sound without a C and an H.
Let's go over the format and rules for round 3. It's pretty much just like round 2. The cars will be going head-to-head in 2 runs. The bottom 2 in points at the end of this round will be eliminated.
Also, all of the points will be the same as the previous round.
Speaking of the Lancia Stratos, up first we have JC Colma in the number 1 car. He currently has 17 points. He's going up against Dylan, who started this rally event off to a rocky start.
That's right, he had a bad wreck in round 1, which cost him quite a few points. He currently only has 10, so he can't afford any mistakes in today's race.
JC Colma, on the other hand, not the fastest driver in this group, but he has been consistently passing that finish line, which has really been racking up his points.
Yeah, this rally series is a totally different ball game. You don't necessarily have to be the fastest driver to be on the top.
I think that may change, however, when we get closer to the finals. But right now, it looks like JC Colma is continuing his strategy of going slow.
Oh my!
Wow! What a way to start things off from Dylan in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution.
That was awesome.
He gets a perfect score on the first run with a big air flying finish bonus.
Dylan knows this is a make or break round for him. He needs as many points as he can get to be safe from elimination.
Just look at the height on that jump.
I think he was listening to Rocket Man on the way down the track because that was some major air.
Let's take another look at that. He does get a little sideways going up in the air, but was able to land it, which is very important to get that bonus.
That's right, you can't get the bonus if you don't land on your tires.
That brings Dylan up to 17 points. He's going to need some more right here if he wants to be safe from elimination.
JC Colma still in the lead right now with 21 points. That's one advantage of being consistent.
Exactly. If you stack up points in the early rounds, you don't necessarily have to go all out when you get to the third.
There goes Dylan.
Whoa!
Wow.
Dylan does it again. That's 2 perfect runs, bringing his score up to 24 points.
The pressure was on and Dylan was up to the challenge. I think he's going to be safe in this round with that performance.
We've still got 4 more drivers to go, but I think you're right.
Here he goes right here. Rocket Man.
Whoa, hold on. Let's not trigger any copyright issues with your beautiful singing.
Was it that bad?
Hey, look at those points. JC Colma still on top with 25. even though he came in second place on both of those races.
This was a classic race of the tortoise and the hare. JC Kalma clearly the tortoise, and Dylan the high-flying hare.
Speaking of high-flying hare, we have Muscle Tone 17 in the number 3 Subaru WRX STI.
Does he have high-flying hare?
I don't know. I was just trying to make a segue.
Oh, okay.
Muscle Tone 17 avoided several collisions in round 2, finishing with a score of 12 points.
Jeff also finished up round 2 with 12 points in his green Volkswagen Scirocco.
The mystery continues to grow as far as the true identity of Jeff.
I mean, what if he's like famous?
He could be. There's a lot of famous Jeffs out there.
Jeff Bridges, Jeff Goldblum, Jeff Hardy.
You mean from the Hardy Boys?
Best tag team duo ever.
I mean, I like them. I'm not sure if they were the best ever.
This is a good race right here.
Muscle Tone 17 bouncing all over the place, loses control, but he gets by the finish line with a little help from his friend.
I don't think that push was intentional. Jeff Daniels just had a decision to make. Do you put on the brakes and risk missing the finish line, or do you just power your way through? I think Jeff Foxworthy made the right decision.
So we're just going with random celebrity names now.
Yep.
Muscle Tone 17 with the first place finish. That's going to add 6 points to his score, bringing it up to 18. Jeff
Gordon.
It's not Jeff Gordon.
But what if it was? Mind
Okay,
blown.
fine. Jeff Gordon only has 16 points, so this race right here is very critical. I think he's going to need a first place win in order to stay alive.
Right now he's got the lead. Let's see if he can hang on to
Both
it.
drivers flying over the hill. Jeff Gordon in the lead. Oh, see, now you have me saying Jeff Gordon.
Look at that big air.
The pressure was really on in this race for him to rack up some points, and he just scored a perfect run. That adds 7 to his points, bringing him up to 23.
That was an amazing finish. We've seen a lot of big air in this third round.
I'll tell you what, 2D, that right there never gets old.
Muscle Tone 17 fails to pass the finish line. That's really going to put him in the hot seat with 21 points. He's all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, and Stephen King already has 17 points. If he scores at least 5 points between his 2 runs, it's going to be sayonara for Muscle Tone 17. Our last race in this round is a battle between the 2 Ford Escorts, Superman Stephen King in the white number 8 Ford Escort Rally
Superman
versus Kieran Moran in the orange number 7 1970 Ford Escort RS 1600.
Stephen King earned the nickname Superman with his high-flying action on the track in round 2. He was the first driver to get the big air bonus back-to-back in both races, putting him in first place.
Superman Stephen King coming into this race with 17 points. Kieran Moran, however, is at a major disadvantage with only 9 points. That means Kieran is going to need almost 2 perfect runs in order to stay in this competition.
That's a tall order. Whoa!
Oh my!
What in the...
Okay, that was not expected.
That was insane.
Stephen King with, dare I say it, the worst wreck of this competition.
Yeah, that was definitely the worst wreck.
I mean, that's like a Gab Formoso level wreck.
Rest in peace, little buddy.
I think he's still alive.
Oh, well, that's great.
Superman Stephen King upside down on his roof, propped up over on that Dodge Power Wagon. Let's try to figure out what exactly went wrong going into that hill.
Both drivers were side to side. They're neck and neck going into the canyon.
Let's see what happened.
Wow.
I mean, how in the world did that happen?
It looked like he did a barrel roll.
Let's look at it from the ground camera. Stephen King coming dangerously close to hitting the crowd.
They've got to be thinking they're lucky stars.
Here's another replay. Right there is where things really went wrong for him. But check this out. Look at how much air he got upside down in his car.
That, my friend, is why they call him the Superman. Even when he's wrecking his car, he does it in spectacular fashion.
Yeah, they should give him some points for that one.
Stephen King does pick up 2 points for passing the first 2 checkpoints. Both of these drivers are in danger of elimination. Stephen King is going to need to finish with a big air bonus or a first place win, and Kieran Moran needs a perfect run.
This is it, a critical race for both of these drivers. Kieran Moran pulling ahead going into the turn.
Stephen King is on his tail.
Whoa, Stephen King passes mid-air.
I think he's going to do it.
Yes, he does. Superman Stephen King with a perfect run, bringing his total score up to 26. That means Stephen King is still our current leader.
Wow, that may have been the best race of this entire rally event. A tight race going into turn 1. Right here, Kieran Moran pulls ahead, but he has a little trouble with his back tire. But watch out, here comes Superman, passing while he's in the air.
That's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen on this track.
I totally agree.
The pressure was really on here for Stephen King after that terrible wreck in the first race. But Stephen King once again proving he knows how to get it done when the rubber meets the road.
That wreck in the first race would throw a lot of drivers off, but not Superman Stephen King. He just dusted that escort off and got back on the track.
We got so caught up with Stephen King's performance that we didn't notice that Kieran Moran got a big air bonus on that last race.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, it was not enough to keep him in the competition. Kieran Moran and Muscletone 17, both the lowest drivers on the leaderboard for today, and they will be going home.
Man, that's tough. Kieran Moran actually had a great round. He scored more points than Stephen King and JC Kalma, but those 2 wrecks in the last round finally caught up to him.
Yeah, he barely made it into the 3rd round.
The competition is really heating up. Look at the point spread from the first place driver to the 4th. There's only 3 points separating them.
You're right, it's a pretty even playing field going into the finals. I think Stephen King is the driver to beat, but it really could be anybody.
Maybe Jeff Gordon?
It's not Jeff Gordon.
Come on, his car has a number 24 on it. Kaboom. Mind blown.
Okay, you've got a point. We've only got 1 round left in this first rally event of the DRC. Excitement is in the air as the top 4 drivers get ready to take the track here in the final round of the first event of the DRC. Joining me today, as usual, is 2D.
This is exciting, 3D. Right now we're looking at 4 great rally cars with 4 really good drivers. Who's going to take home the first championship of the 2020 season? Really, it could be anybody.
That's right, there's only a 3-point spread between 1st and 4th place. A bad run from any of these drivers in today's race could be disastrous.
Yeah, there's really no room for errors today. All the points in today's race will be scored the same way they were in the previous rounds. 1 point for each checkpoint and the finish line, 2 points for a first place finish, and a bonus point for catching big air at the end.
The drivers will once again be going head to head. The way they're matched up is determined by how they rank in points. Up first, it's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman Stephen King driving the number 8 Ford Escort Rally. He's the current leader with 26 points. He'll be going up against Jeff
Gordon
in the number 24 Volkswagen Scirocco.
Stephen King suffered a bad wreck in his first race of round 3 that almost completely took him out of the competition.
Yeah, that was the worst wreck in the DRC to this date.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
What may have been even more awesome was his comeback in the second race, passing up Kieran Moran mid-air and then getting that big air bonus at the end.
Once again, that's why they call him the Superman.
Jeff also had trouble in the first race of round 3. He managed to make it past the finish line but got stuck behind Muscletone 17. But he turned it all around in the second race with a perfect run.
Both of these guys are fast. I expect to see a tight competitive race here in the final round.
Here they go. Stephen King will be starting on the inside lane.
A 3-point difference between Jeff Gordon and Stephen King. Jeff is going to need a first place finish with the big air bonus if he wants to catch up.
Right now, Stephen King is keeping him in his rearview mirror.
Here he goes.
And it looks like Stephen King gets the bonus point.
It seems like every time Stephen King gets to that finish, he goes big.
That's going to be 7 points added to Stephen King's score, but only 4 added to Jeff. The points gap between those two just got a lot wider.
Yeah, with a 6-point difference, there's no way he's going to catch up to Stephen King in this round. He's just going to need to score as many points as he can in this next race and hope the next 2 drivers don't do very well.
I mean, you never really want to wish another driver doesn't do well, but at the same time, you kind of do.
Stephen King once again out in the lead.
Jeff taking advantage of that inside lane. They're neck and neck going over the hill.
Whoa.
Stephen King nearly goes off the track as he passes Jeff.
This guy is crazy.
Car spinning around at the finish line. I don't even know what's going on here.
It looks like the officials have awarded the win to Stephen King, but we're going to need to see a replay of that.
Stephen King with a nice lead here going into the finish, and look at that.
Looks like King lost control and Jeff just had nowhere to go. Kind of reminds me of what happened in the last round with Muscletone 17.
Yeah, Jeff once again helping his opponent get past the finish line. Let's take a look at the scoreboard. Jeff adds 8 points to his score, bringing it up to 31. But look at Stephen King. 13 points added to his score, bringing his total to 39.
Wow, an 8-point difference. It is not looking good for Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, even if he made it into the final race with Stephen King, that is just a huge points gap.
Up next, representing the French, is JC Kalma in the number 1 Lancia Stratos.
The French? What?
Bonjour.
I'm not even going to ask. JC Kalma will be going up against his rival from round 3, Dylan, in the number 5 2008 Lancer Evolution.
JC Kalma got smoked on the track in round 3, but his consistency throughout the entire event has given him more points than Dylan.
So far, slow and steady has been his strategy, but he's going to really need to step on it here.
Yeah, with only 1 point separating the two of them, he's going to need a first place win.
Right now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen as Dylan pulls way ahead down the track.
He gets a lot of air going over that hill.
JC Kalma following, but he's not even close.
And Dylan takes the first place win, and I think he got the big air bonus. Yes, he did.
That's a big win for Dylan. With 31 points, he's now tied with Jeff. If he can maintain his lead over JC Kalma in the next race, he is guaranteed a spot in the final race.
Right there you can see Dylan completely past the finish line before his car makes contact with the track.
JC Kalma once again makes it to the finish, but now he's down by 2. He's going to need a first place win here to stay alive.
You know, the way he's been driving, I don't think he's going to do it.
Dylan with an even bigger lead this time.
JC Kalma still at the top of the hill.
Dylan just needs to keep it under control right here.
I think he's got it.
Here he goes, and Dylan will be... Whoa! What was that?
What the? Oh my goodness.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
That appeared to be JC Kalma's slowest race, and yet he got the biggest air of this round. How did he do that?
Look at how far down the track Dylan is over JC Kalma. Dylan gets the big air bonus, but look at this.
Wow. I mean, he's still out of the competition, but that's an impressive way to go out.
Yeah, definitely. JC Kalma making the French proud with that flying finish.
You do know it's an Italian car, right?
Making the Italians proud with that flying finish.
Both JC Kalma and Jeff are out of the competition, which means Stephen King will be taking on Dylan for the DRC Event 1 Championship. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. It's time to get started with the final race. Superman Stephen King in the number 8 Ford Escort versus Dylan in the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. Who do you think's going to take it, 2D?
You know, my gut says Superman Stephen King, but my heart says Dylan. Dylan started this event off as an underdog. He had that really bad wreck in the first round, so I'm going to root for Dylan.
Stephen King with the lead, Dylan right on his tail.
It's a really close race right here.
And there it is!
Superman!
Leaping over buildings in a single bound, Superman Stephen King with the huge air at the end.
And what happened to my boy Dylan?
That is not good.
He didn't even get the finish.
Yeah, what was a 1-point difference between these two has now grown into a 5-point difference.
Ouch.
Even if Dylan gets a perfect run on this next race, that by itself won't be enough if Stephen King makes it past the 3rd checkpoint.
Well, we have seen him wreck before.
Come on, Tootie, we don't want to see that happen to any of our drivers.
Hey, I'm just saying, it could happen.
I mean, anything technically could happen on this track, but it's going to take a real miracle for Dylan to even tie Stephen King at this point. What do you think is going on in his mind right now, 2D?
Oh, I'm sure he's kicking himself over that mistake. He really needed to finish that race with a big air bonus to really be in contention here. But I think right now he needs to put it all on the track and hope for the worst for Stephen King.
Come on, 2D.
What? That's the only way he's going to catch up.
Dylan flies past the first checkpoint, and so does Stephen King.
Dylan's got some real speed here.
Whoa! Dylan with a strong finish. Wait, what just happened there?
That didn't look right.
Stephen King slamming into the back of Dylan's car while it was upside down. I'm hoping he just had a mechanical failure with his brakes, but that kind of looked like some unsportsmanlike conduct.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he had control over his car coming over that finish line.
I agree. Let's look at it again. Here goes Dylan with a huge flying air finish at the end. He knew he didn't have a chance, but he still put on a great show for the fans.
You've got to respect that.
But now look at Stephen King just cruising in over here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, even if his brakes were shot, it seems like he still could have steered his car over to avoid that collision.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait for the official word of what happened there. But Stephen King is our winner with 50 points.
Congratulations to the King.
Dylan finishing the event with 48 points.
Not a bad score there at all for Dylan. JC Kalma takes 3rd with 34 points, and Jeff takes 4th.
Stephen King had a rocky start back in round 1, not completing the first race, but he made a major comeback in round 2 with that Superman finish.
I think that's still my favorite big air jump in this event.
The wreck in round 3 almost took him completely out of the competition, but he proved that he could overcome the odds, soaring him into victory here in the final round.
And there he is, your DRC Event 1 champion, Superman Stephen King, the driver of the number 8 Ford Escort Rally, driving for 3D Botmaker Racing.
I'm hearing some boos.
Yeah, a mixed reaction from the crowd as the Superman takes his first championship with a little bit of controversy. Not controversy over his points, but with that reckless driving after the finish line.
Yeah, we're getting word in. The official statement from his team is that his steering went out on the car.
I mean, that could definitely happen in rally racing, especially with the big air he caught in today's race. Here's a look at the next 7 cars scheduled to take the track. On the left, we have another Escort, a VW Rabbit, an Audi Quattro, and a Morris Mini, all representing for the Sub-4RA team. And on the right, representing for 3D Botmaker Racing, is a Pikes Peak Celica, a Fiat 500, and a Hot Wheels Original Rally Finale.
Looks like Stephen King is certainly going to have his work cut out for him in the next event, but right now he can take a moment to enjoy this victory.
A well-earned victory at that. Stephen King not afraid to take risks. Those risks almost did cost him big time in round 3, but overall it really ended up paying off. 7 new drivers have arrived at Race Canyon to take on the reigning champion, Stephen King. Has Superman met his match, or will he continue to reign in the DRC? Welcome back to Race Canyon. Here we are with the second event in the Diecast Rally Championship. You're watching the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League.
There's some good-looking cars out there, 3D, including that gold Ford Escort. I have a feeling that car might give Stephen King a run for his money.
Yeah, it's the same model, just all decked out in gold. Besides those two Fords, we have a wide variety of manufacturers from Volkswagen, Audi, Toyota, Subaru, Morris Mini. We've even got a Fiat 500.
That's a great little car.
For Event 2, we've made some changes to the Big Air bonus. We now have a Big Air bonus line. If the front end of your car touches the ground after that line, you'll be awarded the Big Air bonus.
It looks like there's 2 lines. What's that all about?
Well, you might know if you actually came to a meeting.
Social distancing, bro.
All right, fine, you got me there. We have a new Max Air bonus line.
Ooh.
If any part of your car touches after that line, you will get 2 points instead of 1.
That's a big gap right there. I'm curious to see if anyone even gets close in this first round.
Up first, we have rookie driver Alan Willoughby driving the Volkswagen Polo R WRC. He's driving for 3D Botmaker Racing.
That's a great looking car. That one's not a Hot Wheels, right?
That one's actually made by Majorette. I believe it's the first Majorette to ever take the track in the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League.
That was a solid run for Alan Willoughby. It looked like he might have got the Big Air bonus. I'm not sure.
Well, good news. We've actually added a slow-mo finish cam to the finish line.
A slow-mo finish cam? When did we get that?
Once again, we had a production meeting.
Look, man, I'm not trying to catch anything and ruin these golden pipes.
It was a video conference, Tootie.
It's still social.
Alan Willoughby comes up a little bit short of getting that Big Air bonus. He'll end the round with 4 points.
Up next in the number 2 Fiat 500 is Freckle35, driving for 3D Botmaker Racing.
That Fiat 500 could be a speedy little car. The only concern I have is the short wheelbase.
We'll have to see how he does on the jump right here.
Uh-oh.
He loses control.
Oh! And just like that, we've got our first wreck in Event 2 of the DRC.
It was a little wreck for a little car.
A longer wheelbase is going to give you better stability when you come off of that jump. You can see right there, that's where he lost control. He rolled onto the gravel and just fell over.
You know, he actually caught some nice air coming over that first hill.
Yeah, everything was looking good until he landed. We also have another update. We had some concerns over driver safety.
Who's that out there on the track?
It's the track safety crew.
When did we get... Oh, the meeting.
Yep. Freckle35 ends round 1 with 2 points. Keep in mind that all the drivers will be advancing on to the next round.
I think this driver might be the one to look out for, 3D. It's Kid Donut in the Ford Escort Rally, driving for Sub 4RA Racing.
That car certainly has a lot of gold paint job, gold wheels.
Well, you know me, I love gold. The taste of it, the smell of it.
Look at that big air right there.
That's what I'm talking about.
Kid Donut making a big impression on his first appearance in the DRC. We've got to see a replay of that jump.
Look at that. He got his front wheel off the side of the track, got back on, and went soaring through the air for the Big Air bonus.
He came pretty close to that Max Air bonus line. Let's take another look.
Nice.
Right in between the two. That Big Air bonus is going to put Kid Donut in first place with 5 points.
Once again, it looks like the Ford Escorts are going to rule Race Canyon.
Up next, we have the current DRC champion.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. It's Superman Stephen King.
Kid Donut just put on a big performance. Let's see what the Superman can do.
Stephen King certainly knows his way around this track. He is the DRC champion.
Look at that air off the first hill.
This looks good.
Here he goes.
Whoa! Was that a Max Air?
I don't know. That was wild.
Stephen King sending a message to Kid Donut. The champ is here, and he is not here to play.
Just look at how well he navigates around the track.
Wow.
That gives him the speed for those big air jumps.
We're going to need to take a look at the finish line replay to really see if he got that Max Air or not.
That right there is a thing of beauty.
Looks like he came up just short of the Max Air line. Let's take one more look at it. Yeah, the front end just touches before the line.
When I first saw that line, I was wondering how in the world are they going to jump that far? But after that right there, I think we're going to see a Max Air in this event.
Stephen King tying Kid Do Not for first place with 5 points.
Up next is the first Audi in the DRC. We've got Justin Rules 04 in the Audi Quattro driving for Sub 4RA Racing.
That looks like an 80s model of the Audi Quattro, and this is actually a Matchbox.
Nice, so we have Hot Wheels, Majorette, and Matchbox representing in this event.
Justin Rules with a smooth run so far. Not a lot of air, but that was a solid performance.
Kind of reminded me of the Stratos in the last event.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Justin Rules can have the same type of consistency throughout all the rounds.
Here he comes over that hill.
You know, that was a pretty smooth jump. He just didn't have the distance or height to get the extra point.
Justin Rules will tie Alan Willoughby in the VW Polo with 4 points.
We've still got 3 drivers to go. Up next, we have Paul R. in the Toyota Supra. He'll also be driving for Sub 4RA Racing.
If you like NASCAR, check out the Sub 4RA YouTube channel for the Adult Diecast Racing Cup.
Rumor has it that you're actually driving over that cup this year.
That's right, the number 25 Big Johnson car.
Paul R. approaching the finish line.
Weak sauce.
Yeah, that was a little lackluster at the end. You know, you gotta give a break for the rookie drivers. It's their first time. That is a big hill at the end.
Come on, man. You gotta go big or go home.
It's still a solid run. He gets 4 points. It just might be his strategy to feel out the track and see how things are before he really hits it.
We've got a 3-way tie between Alan Willoughby, Justin Rules, and Paul R., each of them with 4 points.
Up next, driving for Dave Akers Customs, is Hasman Noor in the Subaru Impreza WRX.
Isn't that a premium model Hot Wheels car?
Yes, we have swapped the wheels on that one to plastic wheels so it could actually race on the track.
Yeah, rubber tires may look good, but they are terrible on the track.
Hasman Noor loses control as he approaches the finish, and he does not make it.
What a shame. That looked like a solid run until he started bouncing off the walls.
Hasman Noor only the second driver to not finish the course today. We had a lot more drivers not complete the course in the last event.
I remember reading the comments.
Yeah, some people just don't get it. This rally course is meant to be challenging. That's what makes rally racing different than driving on a smooth racetrack.
You're preaching to the choir, bro.
Hasman Noor down at the bottom of the chart, 1 point above Freckle 35 with 3 points.
Our last driver is the Hungarian Polar Bear driving in the Morris Mini for Sub 4RA Racing.
I don't know why, but it seems like the Hungarian Polar Bear should be in a bigger car.
I don't know. Is he a big guy?
I mean, I've never seen him.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be so judgmental.
Wow. Really? We're going there?
I'm just saying, don't judge a book by its cover.
You seriously want to go there?
I mean, you kind of have a history of that.
Is this about the Fiero?
It was a damn good car.
We don't have time for this.
And I told you in the beginning,
you know what?
It was going to be good.
Yes. It was a good car. Crazy Jimmy is the greatest. Are you happy now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way because we missed what happened to the Hungarian Polar Bear.
Apparently, he's just way too big for that car, and he flipped right over.
Too big? You just made
It's
a
pretty
big
obvious.
deal about...
Polar bears are big.
Okay, well, Stephen King and Kid Do Not on top of the boards with 5 points. Alan Willoughby, Justin Rules, and Paul R. with 4 points. Hasman Noor has 3 points, and Freckles 35 and the Hungarian Polar Bear are tied at the bottom with 2 points.
Up next in round 2, the drivers will be going head-to-head. The bottom 2 drivers in points after that round will be eliminated.
Welcome back. You're watching the 3D Bot Maker Diecast Rally Championship here on the 3D Bot Maker YouTube channel. It's time for round 2 in the second event of the DRC.
This is where things really start to heat up 3D. When you have these guys going head-to-head, anything can happen out there on the track.
That's for sure. Let's go ahead and take a look at the leaders board. On the top, we have Stephen King and Kid Do Not, both of them driving the Ford Escort Rally.
There's just something about that car and this track. It's like it was made for it.
Then we have a 3-way tie between Alan Willoughby, Justin Rules 04, and Paul R. Underneath them is Hasman Noor. Then we have Freckle 35 and the Hungarian Polar Bear at the bottom with 2 points each.
So far, it's not looking very good for the small cars.
Here's how the points will be scored in round 2. You can get up to 4 points for passing the checkpoints, a bonus point for finishing in first place, 1 point if your car touches after the big air bonus line, and an additional point if you make it past that max air line.
I've got my fingers crossed for a max air in this round.
Well, if anybody can do it, it's Superman Stephen King in the number 8 Ford Escort Rally. He's coming out of round 1 with 5 points. He'll be going up against the Hungarian Polar Bear in the Morris Mini. He only has 2 points, so he's got a lot of ground to make up in this round.
Yeah, well, he's got his work cut out for him because he's going up against the Diecast Rally champion.
Stephen King, the DRC Event 1 champion, starting off this race with a huge lead.
I think he's going for it.
He's got the speed!
Whoa! Did you see that?
Yes!
Did you see that?
That was incredible!
Max Air, baby.
Stephen
Max
King!
Air.
flying through
That's
the
what
air.
I'm talking about.
I'm speechless. He has a rough
man.
landing there. His car ends up on its side, but that's what happens when you go all out. Look at this again.
Here it is.
Wow. Just look at that hang time in the air.
Incredible.
Just when you think you've seen it all from Stephen King, look at that.
This is what happens when you combine skill with confidence.
And what better way to build confidence than getting yourself the new Superman Stephen King t-shirt from the merch store?
Believe me, I've got mine on order already.
What color did you go with?
You know me, I had to go with the premium cool blue.
I just got my DRC t-shirt in the mail this past week. Absolutely love it.
Okay, I think we've plugged the merch store enough.
Stephen King out in the lead again. The Hungarian polar bear not far behind.
Can he do it again?
Stephen King has some trouble coming off that corner. Plays it safe over the jump, but that's something he can afford after his performance in the first race.
And for the second time in this event, the Hungarian polar bear has wrecked.
Yeah, so far it's not looking good for these short wheelbase cars.
I just think polar bears probably shouldn't be driving cars in the first place.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually a polar bear.
Then why the name?
People pick all types of aliases and names for online.
I think it's a bear.
Stephen King ends round 2 with 17 points. The Hungarian polar bear only with 8.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's going to cut it. Keep in mind that the bottom 2 drivers in points will be going home.
Up next, we have Justin Rules 04 in the number 20 Audi Quattro.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I thought you said ow.
I said Audi.
You got an Audi?
The Audi Quattro.
I think you mean Audi.
No, it's not pronounced
Is
like
this
that.
because people commented on how we pronounce the car?
Hey, we all say some things wrong sometimes.
No.
Sometimes we make mistakes.
Come on, man. You got to stand your ground.
That's how you improve.
No. This goes out to everybody who complained about it. Audi. Audi.
Are you done?
Yeah. So, what happened to the Audi?
Apparently it wrecked during your mispronunciation rant.
What a shame.
A solid run for Paul R. in the Toyota Supra. He picks up 5 points on the first race. Justin Rules 04 only making it past 2 checkpoints. Here's another look at what happened.
Looks like he hit a boulder, then a tree, then ran into that second boulder.
Let's see it from another angle. Oh yeah, wow.
Man, those fans are lucky. He came very close.
That race is going to put Justin Rules 3 points below Paul R. He's still got a chance, though, to make it up on the second race.
The most important thing is you do not want to be in the bottom 2.
The lane positions have been switched. This time, Paul R. starting off on the inside in the number 41 Toyota Supra.
Both these cars made by Matchbox, they seem pretty evenly matched here.
Side by side going into the first hairpin. Paul R. taking the lead this time.
Oh, we've got some contact.
Some aggressive driving by Justin Rules.
Oh.
Justin Rules takes the win while Paul R. gets forced off the track.
Hey, you know how it goes. Rubbin is racing.
That looked like a little more than just some rubbing.
Yeah, that's what she said. Hey, look at that sign.
Aw, come on.
I think it's broke.
You know how long it took us to make that?
That's going on somebody's bill.
Yeah, seriously, if you're gonna wreck, don't break stuff. Here's a look at the replay. Justin Rules chasing down Paul R. He was just relentless.
Look right here, Paul R. goes for the block, so he kind of brought that upon himself.
Yeah, you know, you're right. I didn't notice that the first time around.
Hey, if you're going to cut someone off, you've got to be prepared for the consequences.
Paul R. finishes round 2 with 12 points. Justin Rules right underneath him with 11 points.
Those two are still very close. I hope we get to see them race again.
We've still got 2 more groups to go in round 2. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, you're watching the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. Up next we have Kid Do Not in the number 5 Ford Escort. He'll be going up against Freckle35 in the number 2 Fiat 500.
Freckle35 only scoring 2 points in round 1 in that Fiat. I'm hoping he can make it past the finish line today.
He's going up against rookie driver Kid Do Not, who tied Stephen King in round 1, setting himself up to be a top competitor in this event.
Look at him go.
He drifts around the corner, gets off the side of the track. Somehow he's able to recover and make it past the finish line. But I think what we're seeing here is a lack of experience.
What happened to Freckle?
Freckle35 has that Fiat 500 on its side coming out of that second turn. Let's go to the replay.
Look at the kid flying through the air in that Escort.
Here comes Freckle35. It looks like he did the same thing as he did in round 1.
Yeah, he's really having trouble with that first jump.
As we've seen today, that first jump is a decisive point on this track.
Kid Do Not pulling ahead again on the outside lane. He's got a big lead going over the bridge.
Let's see if he can handle the second turn. Kid Do Not rolls over. And Freckle35 comes to a sudden stop. Was not able to get around Kid Do Not. That is going to put him down at the bottom.
That Fiat 500 has not made it down here to the finish line at all during this event.
A tough break for Kid Do Not. He certainly got the speed, and he's not afraid to push that car, but once again, the lack of experience can really cost you in the race.
Yeah, but he's still not doing that bad. Kid Do Not in second place with 13 points. He's not too far out of range from the champ, Stephen King.
Now on to our last two drivers of the day. We've got Alan Willoughby in the number 1 Volkswagen Polo WRC. He's going up against Hasman Noor in the 99 Subaru Impreza WRX.
The VW Polo is a majorette. The Subaru is a Hot Wheels. We've got ourselves a battle of the brands.
Hasman Noor with a slight lead going into the first turn. It's a close race going over the bridge. Hasman Noor pulling ahead.
Willoughby is on his tail.
Hasman Noor gets sideways and brings both cars to a complete stop.
I know that's got to be disappointing for Alan Willoughby. He really didn't make any mistakes in that race. He just had nowhere to go once that Subaru got sideways.
Another competitive race in the second round. You can see Willoughby chasing down Hasman Noor. Right here, Hasman hits the side wall. Alan Willoughby really just didn't have time to avoid that collision.
Both drivers scored 3 points on that race. Alan Willoughby needs at least 2 more points. Hasman Noor needs at least 3 in order for them to avoid elimination.
All they need to do is get close to the finish line, and they're both going to be safe.
Hasman Noor with a sizable lead. Here comes Alan Willoughby.
We've got contact,
Oh.
and Hasman Noor leaves Alan Willoughby back at the finish line. It looks like he got his car stuck on the hill.
He was so close.
The good news is both drivers will be advancing on to the next round, but losing those few points here can come back to haunt you as the event continues on.
Hasman Noor showing once again he has no idea how to drive that car. Alan Willoughby seems to be lacking in power and just was not able to find his way around Hasman Noor in this race.
Hopefully his team can get that VW tuned up in time for the next round.
And maybe somebody can show Hasman Noor how to drive around a corner.
Come on, be nice.
Seriously, my granny can do it and she's got cataracts.
That's actually true. I saw her go down the track in a Dodge Caravan.
Watch out, Stephen King. Granny D is coming for you.
Here's a look at the leaders board. Stephen King on top with 17 points, followed by Kid Do Not in second place. Paul R. takes third. Hasman Noor, Justin Rules tie for fourth. Alan Willoughby is in fifth. Unfortunately, the Hungarian Polar Bear and Freckle 35 are out of the event.
6 drivers left. Things are getting intense.
Yes, they are. Welcome back to the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. It's time for round 3 of event 2 in the DRC. Joining me once again in the booth is none other than 2D.
Hey, it's a great day for rally racing. I really want to see these guys put it all on the track today. No holding back, go big or go home.
There's only 4 spots in the final round, so this is not the day to play it safe. Here's the current standings. Stephen King on top with 17 points. Kid Do Not in second place with 13. Paul R. has 12. Hasman Noor and Justin Rules tie with 11 points. And on the bottom is Alan Willoughby.
There's only 3 points separating last place from second. So I think the only one who might be safe here today is Stephen King.
Up first, we have Paul R. in the Toyota Supra going up against Hasman Noor in the Subaru WRX.
You know, Hasman Noor has been having a lot of trouble navigating around that last corner. I hope he's been practicing during the week. Otherwise, he may be at risk of going home today.
Only a 1-point gap between Paul R. and Hasman Noor. Paul R. has 12, Hasman with 11.
On a day like today, every point counts. 1 point could be the difference between the finals and going home.
Paul R. in the lead as he approaches the finish line, and Paul R. will take the first win as Hasman Noor gets left behind.
That reminds me of the last race between Hasman Noor and Alan Willoughby. It looks like number 99 is getting a little taste of his own medicine.
Yeah, losing that 1 point by not passing the finish line might really come back to bite him when we get to the end of this round.
Paul R. putting the block on him around that corner. That's going to bring Paul's score up to 17. Hasman Noor with 14.
I think Hasman's going to need to win this next one if he wants any chance of making it into the finals. Let's see if he can make it clean around that last corner.
That's really been his Achilles heel in this race. He's got the lead right now.
Hasman Noor over the first jump. Here he goes. Nope. Can Paul R. make it around him? No.
Wow, I told you. Hasman Noor once again ruining the race for everyone.
You know, I'm starting to agree with you. Somebody get him off the track.
Well, you know, he might end up getting himself off the track. He ends this round with 17 points. I don't know if that's going to be enough to carry him through to the finals.
Well, we still have 4 drivers to go. We'll have to wait and see. A 6-point round isn't the worst.
That's true. He could have did a Hungarian polar bear and rolled over.
Yeah, that was a sad day for the Hungarians.
I think you mean a sad day for polar bears.
No, that's not what I meant.
Well, it was.
Up next, we have Kid Do Not in the number 5 Ford Escort Rally going up against Justin Rules 04 in the number 20 Audi Quattro.
Kid Do Not's lack of experience was really on display in round 2 as he wrecked his car, but he still managed to end the round in second place.
We'll see today if he's learned from his mistakes. It's one thing to have speed, and it's another thing to have that speed under control.
Kid Do Not pulls ahead going into the first corner.
He's got a big lead going over the bridge, gets a little sloppy on that jump.
He's going for the big air.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. That was a good jump right there.
Kid Do Not with a great first race performance.
Oh, no.
The same cannot be said for Justin Rules 04. Somehow he flipped. Oh, wait a minute.
That's not right.
Another broken sign? Seriously, guys?
I didn't even see how that happened.
Hey, somebody get the track crew out there.
You just hate to see
No,
that.
forget the car. Get the sign.
Let's see if it was Kid Do Not or Justin Rules. Nope, it was not the kid.
We may not have video evidence, but we all know it was Justin Rules.
Let's take another look at that big air.
You know, we had a couple people not understand the rules of the big air or the max air bonus.
Really, I thought it was pretty simple.
It is, but just to be clear, what the judges are looking for is where your car is in relationship to the line when it touches the ground.
Okay.
So the question they'll be asking is any part of the car past the line when the car first touches the ground?
Makes sense to me.
And at the end of the day, it's really up to the judge's discretion.
Kid Do Not looks really good right here. He's going for it.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
That right there looked like he got the max air bonus.
The kid.
We're gonna have to go with the replay. That was really close.
Oh, man, that is what I live for. High-flying, big air action. When the world's problems get you down, Kid Do Not picks you up.
Here's another look in slow-mo.
Oh, man.
So close. I don't know if that was it or not.
That was super close.
Let's go to the finish cam.
I really hope he got it.
Here he goes.
Oh,
I
man.
still can't tell.
I don't know. Give it to him, judges.
They're reviewing it one more time here.
He gets amazing air. Look at that.
And the judges are ruling it a big air bonus only.
Oh, come on.
It was a split decision, but if you look at his shadow, when he made contact with the ground, he did not appear to be past the line.
Oh, man, a great effort by Kid Do Not, and he gets a big point boost right there, 12 points in that round.
Up next, the only driver to officially get the max air bonus so far in the DRC, Superman Stephen King. Here's a look at what a max air bonus really looks like.
Yeah, he clearly got past the line on that jump.
He'll be going up against Alan Willoughby in the number 1 VW Polo WRC.
Stephen King has 17 points, Alan Willoughby only with 10.
Whoa!
The King has fallen.
Alan Willoughby navigates around the wreck, and he makes it past the finish line to take, I think, was probably his first win.
Yeah, you're actually right. He couldn't make it to the finish in round 2 because of Hasbin Norm.
Oh, has been.
But what happened to Stephen King?
Stephen King was having a great run so far in this second event in the DRC. Looks like he landed that jump at an angle. Let's look at it.
Yep, he landed on his right 2 wheels and just toppled over after that.
Stephen King only passing 2 checkpoints. That might be the lucky break that Alan Willoughby needed. That win adds 5 points to his score, bringing him up to 15. If he can pass the finish line in this next race, I think he'll have enough to move on to the finals.
Stephen King already with 19 points. He really just needs to pass 1 checkpoint to make it into the final 4.
A lot on the line here for Alan Willoughby. Can he do it?
Stephen King out there with the big lead.
He lands that jump clean this time. Here they come to the final stretch. Alan Willoughby loses control.
Oh, no.
And that is going to be the end of the line for Alan Willoughby. All he had to do was make it past the finish line, and he would be in the final 4.
Man, what a tough break. This time it was not the other driver's fault. Alan Willoughby only has himself to blame.
Stephen King making a comeback, picks up the win. It looks like he also gets the big air bonus. Let's take one more look.
Nice.
Yes, he does.
It looks like Superman played it a little safe there at the end, which is actually a smart move. He knew he already had enough points to get into the finals, so now is not the time to take any risks.
And look at that. Stephen King and Kid Do Not tied at the top of the boards with 25 points. Paul R. underneath them, 5 points down with only 20. Justin Rules coming in 3rd place with 19 points.
Wow, so both Matchbox actually made it into the finals.
Yes, I did not expect to see that happen.
I'm excited to see them race, but I think the big matchup is going to be between Kid Do Not and Superman Stephen King.
Welcome back to the 3D Bot Maker Diecast Rally Championship. Here we are with the final round of Event 2.
Man, I have been waiting for this day all week long. I mean, come on, we've got Superman Stephen King, Kid Do Not, and those other 2 guys.
You mean Paul R. and Justin Rules 04. They do have names. Let's take a look at the boards going into the final round. Kid Do Not and Stephen King on top, both with 25 points. Paul R. with 20 points. And Justin Rules 04 all the way at the bottom with 19 points.
Yeah, that 6-point gap for Justin Rules, that's going to be hard to overcome.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle, but as we say, anything can happen in the DRC.
He pretty much needs the other drivers to wreck on both races.
Up first today, we have Superman Stephen King driving the number 8 Ford Escort Rally. He's driving for 3D Botmaker Racing with 25 points. He's going up against Justin Rules 04 in the number 20 Audi Quattro. He'll be driving for Sub 4RA Racing, and he has 19 points.
Good luck to Justin Rules because he's going up against the Diecast Rally King.
Stephen King, the only driver for 3D Botmaker Racing in the finals.
Well, if you're going to have one driver left, you want it to be Superman Stephen King.
Stephen King spins out, and Justin Rules 04 blazes past him.
Wow.
I think he may have got the big air bonus.
Now that's the type of lucky break Justin Rules 04 really needed. That 6-point gap just turned into a 3-point gap.
Yeah, he's still got his work cut out for him. He's going to need the same thing to happen on the second race, and that's just to tie Stephen King in points.
Stephen King having trouble coming out of that corner. Keep in mind, though, that he is a veteran, and an experienced driver does not make the same mistake twice.
A nice big air jump there at the end by Justin Rules. I believe that's his first time getting the big air bonus in this event.
Yeah, that was awesome. This is the finals. It's not time to hold back. Put that pedal to the metal and get some big air.
Here we go at the start of the second race. Justin Rules 04 on the inside lane. Stephen King pulling ahead.
He's not playing games this time.
Let's see if he can make it around the corner.
Uh-oh.
Stephen King loses control again.
Boom.
And Stephen King gets past the finish line with help from Justin Rules 04. I'm not sure, but that looked intentional.
They are driving for different teams, but that did look like Justin Rules was trying to help Stephen King get across the finish line.
Maybe Justin Rules just figured he didn't really have a shot in this thing, and he was going to help the champ get a few extra points.
Either way, it's not looking good right now for Stephen King. He's having a lot of trouble out there on the track.
Yeah, he had a DNF on the first race. He had to have help to get across the finish line on the second race. I'm sure his team is working hard to figure things out right now as we speak.
Yeah, if he can't get it together, this whole thing might end up going to the kid.
Here's a look at our second group of drivers. Kid Dunot in the number 5 Ford Escort. He'll be going up against Paul R. in the number 41 Toyota Supra.
Both of these drivers are driving for Sub 4RA Racing.
Sub 4RA, a friend of the channel. I'm really hoping to see the Adult Diecast Racing Cup come to Race Mountain this season.
That'll be a blast to see those stock cars take on the new track.
Kid Dunot wasting no time with an early lead going down the track.
Watch out now.
He's going for it.
Geronimo!
I believe we just saw a max air.
That's how you get it done.
Wow, Kid Dunot
Oh yeah.
going flat out down the track.
Max air, baby.
That's the type of driving we want to see here in the finals.
Let me tell you, 3D, I've got a fever.
Uh-oh.
And the only cure
Hey, Steve.
is some max air.
Can we get him quarantined?
What? I'm fine.
You sure about that?
Yeah, remember the SNL skit?
I'm
More
just saying,
cowbell?
it's not time to play games about that.
Yeah, I'm straight.
Okay.
Why is Steve on the phone?
Steve, just keep the paramedics on standby.
No, guys, I'm good. The cure was the max air.
Okay.
Gosh, lighten up, guys.
Kid Dunot with a huge performance in the first race. That adds 7 points to his total score. Let's see what he can do in race 2.
If he can win this one right here, he's going to have a major lead going into the final round.
It's a close race going over the bridge. Kid Dunot pulling ahead. Is he going to go for it again?
He's losing it.
He's almost there. And Paul R. appears to have tried to help Kid Dunot make it over the hill, but just was not able to push him up there.
Wow, Stephen King really lucked out there. If Kid Dunot made it past the finish line, he would have a 4-point lead over Stephen King.
This final stretch of track is definitely the most challenging part of this course.
It really is. It's the make or break point on this stage.
And here's the results after the first round of the finals. Kid Dunot on top with 35 points. Superman Stephen King with 33.
You know, I expected to see this matchup, but I didn't expect to see Stephen King down by 2.
Yeah, me either. Has Superman finally met his match? Will we have a new champion in the DRC? We'll find out right after the break. Welcome back. You're watching the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. Here we are in the final round with a matchup between the rookie driver Kid Dunot and Superman Stephen King.
It's a battle of the Ford Escorts. Kid Dunot representing for Sub 4RA Racing and Stephen King driving for 3D Botmaker Racing.
This really is the moment we've all been waiting for since round 1. It's time to find out who is the best driver of the Ford Escort Rally.
I'm on the edge of my seat, Let's go.
And here we are, both drivers taking off in race 1 of the final round.
It's a close race so far.
Kid Do Not taking the lead going into the first jump.
Whoa!
Stephen King wrecks. Kid Do Not loses control. What is going on here?
This is not the way I expected things to go.
Stephen King has been a dominant driver this entire event, and he is falling apart in this final round.
It looks like he landed that jump too close to the inside and was not able to correct it going around that corner.
Then he did a roof slide past the third checkpoint.
Oh, wow.
Which means he got lucky again because they both got the same amount of points on that race.
If Kid Do Not could have just got past that finish line, it really would be all over at this point.
Yeah, we'll see. Stephen King is still down by 2 points. He's going to need a big win here if he wants to tie it up.
It's another close race going into the first corner.
Stephen King pulling ahead going over the bridge. It's still a close race.
He's losing it.
King almost goes off track.
Whoa!
And Stephen King appears to have tied it all up with a big air bonus at the end.
A tie.
If he got the big air, that means this will be the first ever tie in the finals of a DRC event.
Oh, wow. This is racing history being made right here on the 3D Bot Maker channel.
Here's the replay. He almost went off track. He gets back on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he got it.
Wow.
Stephen King with a big comeback.
That was amazing.
From a 2-point deficit, ties it all up.
What happens now?
They're going to do another round of racing.
This is too good.
Also, look at Kid Do Not passing the finish line, going in reverse. I believe that's the first time that's ever happened.
Write down the date. This is history being made here today.
Both drivers now have 42 points each. It's an even playing field. I really don't know who's going to take this one.
You know, after Stephen King's early performance, my money was on the kid. But after watching that, Superman might be back.
Here we go with our first ever tiebreaker round in the DRC finals.
Another tight race going to that first corner. Kid Do Not with the lead.
Stephen King trying to pass around the corner.
The kid's got this one.
I don't know.
Oh!
And Stephen King pushes Kid Do Not past the finish line, giving him a 2-point lead.
Wow.
I know he's got to be kicking himself over that one.
If he could have just stopped a little bit sooner, they would both be tied. But that mistake right there may have cost a championship for Stephen King.
That was a very competitive race. Stephen King trying the whole time to find a way around Kid Do Not, but he ends up giving him a 2-point lead.
Well, he did it once. We'll have to see if he can do it again.
I don't think we've ever had so much suspense and drama in a single race as we do right here.
This is certainly one for the ages.
Stephen King starting off on the inside lane. Can he do it again and make a comeback?
If anyone can, it's Superman.
Stephen King leading going around the corner.
Let's see how he does on the last corner. That's the one that usually gets him.
He's going for it.
Oh!
Whoa! Oh my goodness! Stephen King!
Max Air, baby.
That may have been a max air.
That was so awesome.
If that was, it's all over. He's the champion.
Here it is.
Oh, that was so close. We're going to have to look at it again.
I don't know. He may have come up short, but that was still super awesome.
This entire championship hanging on the balance of this one jump. Here it is. We're waiting for the official ruling. And it's a big air bonus.
No max air.
That means we have another tie.
Get out of here.
This is crazy. Pandemonium at the DRC.
I love it.
That means we'll be going into a third round of racing in the finals of this event 2 of the DRC.
This is too good.
Another amazing comeback by Stephen King. He was down by 2 points, and he would have taken it if he got the max air.
It's just too good.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with another tiebreaker round. Welcome back to the DRC Event 2 Finals. Here we are with our second tiebreaker round between Kid Do Not and Superman Stephen King.
We've seen it all here today. Reverse finishes. We saw a max air by Kid Do Not. I mean, what's next?
I don't know, but both these drivers are really putting it all on the line here today and putting on a great show for the fans.
Here they come.
Kid Do Not wrecks!
Oh!
Wait, he recovers!
No way.
What in the...
No way.
What just happened?
Get out of town.
This is too much.
I don't even know who won that race.
Somehow Kid Do Not wrecked his car, got it back up on all 4 tires, and made it past the finish line, and he may have even won the race.
That is just ridiculous.
Here it is again. It looks like Stephen King got into the back end of Kid Do Not's car, and we have a photo finish.
That's got to be the craziest thing we've ever seen happen on this track.
We're waiting for the official call on this race.
Kid Do Not.
Oh, and it goes to the kid.
Wow. I mean, it's one thing to wreck your car and recover from it, but to also win the race, that's just insane.
That win right there is going to give Kid Do Not a 1-point lead over Stephen King. That's going to make this a very close race. The pressure is really on here for the DRC champ.
This is it. Let's see if he can handle the pressure. Are we going to have a winner or another tie?
Stephen King pulls ahead as he approaches the first jump.
Whoa,
he spins out.
He's going for it in reverse.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Did that
what
just
did we
happen?
just see?
If my eyes aren't deceiving me, I think we just saw a reverse big air.
Wow.
Superman Stephen King wins the championship with a reverse big air.
I don't even know what to say.
It almost looks like he put his car into a 180 spin on purpose just to show Kid Do Not who's the king of the DRC.
Here's another look from the finish line, Cam.
Wow, that is just amazing.
It's a high-risk maneuver, but that's exactly the type of thing that makes you a legend on the track.
Superman Stephen King certainly solidifying his legendary status here in the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. Here's a look at the final score. Stephen King with 61 points, Kid Do Not with 60.
That was such an intense and close race. It came down to 1 point in the end.
An amazing show put on by both drivers. Kid Do Not, a lot of respect goes out to him to be able to keep up that well with the DRC champ.
Yeah, I mean, he was actually in the lead most of the time.
And there he is, two-time champion, Superman Stephen King, celebrating his hard-fought victory.
This one was not easy. He really had to work for it.
Now, I know everyone's wondering what's coming up next in Event 3 of the DRC. From what I understand, the producers put you in charge of the car selection.
That's right.
You want to give us a sneak peek or any hints on what we might see?
You know, 3D, I think I'm just going to leave it as a surprise.
Well, that kind of makes me worried.
Why?
We all remember the last surprise you brought to the Racing League.
Hey, that was a good surprise. You know it was.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Welcome back to the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. Here we are with the start of Event 3 of the 2020 season. Before we get started though, we have a mystery car to unveil. 2D, are you finally ready to reveal the mystery car?
Oh, I'm ready. Question is, are you ready?
I don't know. I'm a little concerned about this.
Trust me, man, this is gonna be epic.
Epic can lean towards success or failure.
Okay, Joe, we're ready.
Here we go, folks. They're lifting the box.
This right here, 3D, is what we call a world premiere.
Is that what I think it is?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know Hot Wheels even made that car.
That's because this is a prototype of the 2021 mainline Hot Wheels Lancia Delta Integrale.
Whoa. How did you even get that car?
I told you Jimmy's got connections.
Dude, that is a legit rally car. I mean, that's legendary.
Come on, man. 2D knows his stuff.
You know, I really thought you were going to screw this whole thing up and reveal something ridiculous. But this right here, this is awesome.
I had Steve put a little something together for this world premiere.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The world premiere of the 2021 Hot Wheels mainline Lancia Delta Integrale.
Now, what you see here is a prototype of that car. That's why it doesn't have the paint or the decals.
Hey, it still looks awesome. Let's get a number on it and get it ready to race. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. It's time for Event 3, but before we get started, let's go over some updates. The first thing is we removed the checkpoint from the top of the hill here, right before the bridge. Pretty much every single car made it past that checkpoint, so it just didn't make much sense to keep it there. The remaining checkpoints are the one right here at the top of the hill, the checkpoint after the big turn, and of course the finish line.
Hey, what's going on over there?
We've got hay bales.
Oh, yeah.
Just when you thought things couldn't get better, we've added hay.
I'm sure someone's wondering, what's that all about, 3D?
Hey, I'm glad you asked. We've got a brand new Big Air bonus.
Sweet. Tell us more about it.
We've removed the lines and added 2 stacks of hay bales. If your car can clear the hay bales without knocking them over, you'll score 2 bonus points.
Shout out to Kid Do Not.
If you knock off a hay bale on the top row, you'll receive 1 bonus point.
Nice. But what happens if you just knock them all over?
If your car just plows through and knocks them all over, you won't receive any bonus points, but it'll still look really awesome.
Oh, yeah. Hay bales, baby.
We also have an additional landing bonus. If your car clears all the hay bales, lands on all 4 tires, stays on all 4 tires, and stays on the track, you'll get an additional point, bringing that total Big Air up to 3 points.
I forgot to mention earlier, we have a special guest driver in the Lancia Delta Integrale. It's Ryu Asada.
Very cool, but who is he?
Ryu is a Hot Wheels designer, and he actually designed this car right here.
Wow, we've got a prototype car. Whoa!
Look at that, 3D.
Wow.
That's what we call Big Air.
Ryu upside down on his roof, but he manages to clear all the hay bales in his very first try.
Hey, this guy knows his way around a car, and this may just be a rumor, but I heard he's a pretty good fighter too.
Now, is it supposed to be Ryu or Ryu?
Oh, no. Don't call him Ryu.
Oh, okay.
It's not even technically pronounced Ryu, but that's as close as I'm getting.
Well, that's good to know. Take another look at this Lancia Delta. It just takes flight.
With driving like that, I think he might give Superman a run for his money.
I did not expect to see someone clear the hay bales on the first run. Very impressive driving by Ryu Asada.
Also, one more thing, a big shout out to HWC Jimmy over at Mattel.
Another Jimmy?
Yep, he got us hooked up with this amazing prototype.
Up next in the 1984 Audi Sport Quattro is Derek Workman. He looks pretty quick so far around the track. A little wobble there going over the bridge.
He's got some speed right here.
I think he's going to go for the Big Air.
Oh,
yeah.
Another one.
And just like that, Derek Workman joins the Big Air Club today. So far, no one able to stick the landing. Derek Workman took a pretty bad tumble.
Well, it's a good thing we hauled in all the sand to soften the blow.
Let's take a look at the replay. Hits the sidewall, but straightens it up and just goes pedal to the metal, just barely clearing that top row of hay bales.
He may need to add some weight to the trunk of his car to balance it out while it's in the air.
Yeah, you can see right here, he just takes a nosedive. That car was pretty much perpendicular to the ground when it made contact.
A very rough landing, but we are getting word that Derek Workman is okay.
Well, that's good. Derek Workman picks up 5 points and is currently tied with Ryu Asada.
Just a recap for the new viewers, he got 3 points for passing the checkpoints and 2 points for that Big Air bonus.
Next up in the number 7, 1973 BMW 3.0 CSL is Alonzo Torres driving for 3D Botmaker Racing.
Our first BMW to take the track in the rally series.
He's looking good so far. Gets a little squirrely there, and he just plows right on through the hay bales.
You know, it doesn't matter if they go over the hay bales or through them. It's pretty awesome to watch either way.
Let's take a look at the replay. He was looking good up to that point, ends up drifting, he recovers, but he obviously knew he did not have the speed to make it over those hay bales. You don't want to halfway attempt that jump. Either you're all in or just drive on through.
Alonzo Torres knocking over every single hay bale except for one.
Hey, if we were bowling, he would have got a good score there.
Alonzo Torres ends round 1 with 3 points.
Also, keep in mind that all the drivers will be advancing on to the next round, regardless of their score.
Up next, a man that needs no introduction, but we're going to get to him anyways. It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Superman Stephen King.
The 2-time DRC champion.
And an all-around bad mother.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Here we go.
Whoa!
Oh!
A perfect
Yes.
Big Air jump by Superman Stephen King.
That was amazing.
That is how you do it.
Oh, he's getting it done.
Stephen King showing us why he is the 2-time DRC champion, out here going for his 3rd championship, and what a way to start.
Hashtag Superman 3-peat.
I think he saw the other drivers get those Big Air bonuses and said, you want to see a Big Air? Hold my O'Douls.
And just like that, Superman Stephen King takes the lead with 6 points.
That's right, 3 checkpoints, 2 bonus points for the Big Air, and the landing bonus. Up next, we have Fabulos in the 1970 Ford Escort RS 1600. This car coming to us from Rehabilitoy. Does your toy suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome from childhood play trauma? Then consider the good folks at Rehabilitoy.
Whoa!
Ouch!
I guess we might have to send that car back to Rehabilitoy before the next round.
Another big air bonus ending in a wreck, but I gotta say, I really appreciate these guys just going all out, and it's only the first round.
Hey, this is event 3 of the 2020 season. This is the DRC. This is the big leagues when it comes to diecast racing. You've got to bring it, and that's what these guys are doing here today.
Look at that. He gets so much air and lands right on the nose of his car.
All I know is that jump was fabulous.
I was waiting for that.
Come on, someone had to say it.
Fabulos joins Ryu Asada and Derek Workman with 5 points.
That's a great start for all 3 of those drivers.
Up next, first time in the DRC, but not his first time on this channel, it's Jacob Chaplin in the Toyota MR2.
That car comes to us from the Sub4RA YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out when you get a chance.
Jacob Chaplin is flying around the track. He's going for it.
Whoa! He was so close to getting the big air bonus.
Jacob Chaplin going nose first up in the air off of that jump, but he ends up knocking down both rows of hay bales, so he will not get the big air bonus.
Tough break. He was really going for it. Look right here. Straight down the track.
Looks like his car may be a little heavy on the back end.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with a little extra weight on the back end.
Okay. Let's take a look at the replay of that jump. There he goes, the nose of that car high up in the air. The back end hits the hay bales, causing it to roll.
Even though he didn't make it, you got to give him credit for committing to that jump.
Yeah, he definitely went all in on it. He'll be ending round 1 with a score of 3 points. Up next in the Toyota AE86 Corolla is Gyrus R. This car was sponsored back in the JDM tournament by the Bayou City Diecast Raceplex. It's getting a second chance. Whoa!
Wow.
I'm beginning to remember why that car didn't qualify for the JDM tournament.
Yeah, sometimes it's the driver, sometimes it's the car. I think in this case it might be the car.
Well, out of all the Hot Wheel castings we have of that car, none of them have been very good.
Yeah, that's such a shame.
I do have to say, though, I'm impressed. This is the first car we've had not pass the finish line.
Well, hey, that's what you can expect when you let old 2D pick the cars.
Gyrus R does manage to slide and spin his way past the second checkpoint, so he will end the round with 2 points. That's going to put him all the way on the bottom. And here's our last driver of the day, driving the Volkswagen SP2 for Sub4RA. It's Robert Leviosa.
Let's see if Robert can make it 7 out of 8 cars to make it past the finish line.
He looks good so far.
Is he going for it?
Here he goes!
Yes!
Robert Leviosa soars through the air to pick up the big air bonus.
You do realize that 5 cars today got the big air bonus.
That is very impressive.
And who picked those cars?
You did.
Thank you. And if I remember correctly, you were the one who picked all the cars for event 1.
Yeah, I did.
And how many big airs did we have in round 1 back then?
I mean, we didn't have the hay bales.
0. The answer you're looking for is 0.
That's
no
not
one got
really
big air in round 1.
That's not really a fair comparison.
Oh, really?
It was a new series. No one had ever seen the track.
Excuses.
I will give you this, though. You have picked some amazing cars for this event.
So I can pick the cars for the next event?
We'll talk about it.
Come on.
Robert Leviosa ends round 1 with 5 points, driving in the Volkswagen SP2. Here's a look at the standings after round 1. We've got Superman Stephen King on top as usual in his Ford Escort with 6 points. Ryu Asada, Derek Workman, Fabulos, and Robert Leviosa all tie with 5 points. Alonzo Torres and Jacob Chaplin with 3 points. And all the way at the bottom is Gyrus R with 2 points. Welcome back to the 3D Bot Maker Diecast Rally Championship. Here we are for round 2 of event 3. Let's take a look at the current standings. We have Stephen King in first place, followed by Ryu Asada, Derek Workman, Fabulos, and Robert Leviosa all tied with 5 points. Alonzo Torres and Jacob Chaplin tied with 3 points. And Gyrus R all the way at the bottom with 2 points.
Gyrus R definitely at a disadvantage coming into this round with only 2 points. With that said, there's a lot of points up for grabs when they go head to head.
Up first, we have Derek Workman going against Alonzo Torres. Derek Workman driving in the Audi Sport Quattro. Alonzo Torres in the BMW 3.0 CSL.
Derek Workman in the Audi starting off with 5 points. Torres has 3.
Derek Workman off to an early lead as he goes over the first hill. Gets a lot of air right there.
Is he going to go for the big air?
Yes, he does. He rolls
yeah.
the landing, but that's going to be a good starting points for Derek Workman.
You know I love it. He just went all out for that jump.
Also, we should mention there's been a change to the first place bonus. Instead of getting 1 point, you will now get 2 points.
That's right. We want to give the drivers a bigger reward for coming in first place.
Yeah, it puts a little more weight and importance on actually winning the race.
Here's another look at that big air.
He gets a little crooked coming off that jump, ends up landing on his side, rolls it over back on his tires.
Now, does that qualify him for the new landing bonus?
No, for the new landing bonus, you have to clear all the hay bales, land on your tires, stay on your tires, and stay on the track.
So far, that seems like a very difficult thing to do.
Well, that's why it's a bonus. Here they come over the hill.
Whoa, Nelly.
Alonso Torres spins out of control. Derek Workman ends up on his roof. And that right there is going to be the end of that race. Both drivers only picking up 1 point for that first checkpoint.
Wow, that's going to hurt both of them in the standings, but it's really going to hurt Alonso Torres. He's ending this round with only 7 points.
That's only 1 more point than Stephen
Whoa.
King ended the first round with.
Did you see that, 3D?
What happened?
I think that spectator took it in the face.
Let's see. Oh!
Now that right there is some Group B rally.
I hope we had them all sign waivers, correct? Steve,
The paramedic
did they
is on
sign
the
a
scene.
waiver? The fans.
Looks like he's asking him how many fingers he's holding up.
Okay, we did.
What kind of paramedic is that?
I think he's in training. The good news, however, is all the fans have signed a waiver.
Well, that's good for us, but I mean, is he okay?
He'll be fine. Derek Workman ends round 2 with 13 points, Alonso Torres with 7.
Up next, we have Ryu Asada going against Jacob Chaplin.
Ryu Asada driving in that Hot Wheels prototype Lancia Delta Integrale. Jacob Chaplin in the Toyota MR2.
Ryu Asada had a good start in round 1. Let's see how he does head-to-head.
It's a close race. Ryu Asada with a slight lead going over the first hill. Jacob Chaplin wrecks. Ryu Asada outruns the cameraman and goes really, really big for a big air.
Wow, that was incredibly high in the air.
Yes, it was.
Was that a Hadouken or a Shoryuken?
I don't know, but that move is going to add 7 points to his score, bringing him up to 12. Jacob Chaplin, on the other hand, only passing 1 checkpoint while he went in reverse off of that jump.
Wow.
What in the world happened?
Look at how close he comes again to that same spectator.
That guy must have 9 lives.
And why is he still out there?
The paramedic said there was nothing wrong with him. He should just walk it off.
So he got hit in the face with a beamer, and he's supposed to just walk that off.
Hey, it's Rally. Just look at the height of Ryu Asada. That height was absolutely insane.
He did have a hard landing. The paramedic is checking him out as well.
I'm sure he's fine. Just walk it off.
Is that your remedy for everything?
Dude, it's Rally. One more look at that incredible jump. Just look at that picture right there.
Man, that is high.
They should put that shot right there on an inspirational poster. Good news, Ryu Asada has walked it off. And he's back at the start for the next race.
Man, there's a big gap in points. Ryu Asada with 12, Jacob Chaplin with only 4.
It's a close race around the first corner. Jacob Chaplin with a slight lead. Ryu Asada passes as he flies through the air.
Here he goes.
He's gonna go for it again. And Ryu Asada's back tire takes down the hay bales, followed by Jacob Chaplin, who does make it to the finish line this time.
That'll add 3 more to his score, but that means he's ending this round with only 7 points, and that's not good.
A solid performance by Ryu Asada as he wins both races.
Hey, that's not bad at all for a rookie DRC driver.
Let's take a look at this amazing pass. Ryu Asada passing up Jacob Chaplin mid-air.
I think the only other time we saw something like that was from Stephen King.
Watch out, Stephen King. There might be a new Superman in town.
How dare you, 3D?
What?
Blasphemy.
Hey, Ryu is pretty good.
There's only one Superman, and his name is Stephen King.
We're going to go to break.
Say it, 3D.
We've got to go to break.
Say his name.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to the 3D Bot Maker Diecast Rally Championship, Round 2 of Event 3. Our next 2 drivers are Fabulos and Robert Leviosa.
No, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Okay, well, I don't see what the difference is.
Trust me, it makes a big difference when you're trying to cast a levitation spell.
Well, that's good to know. Both Fabulos and Robert Leviosa?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of better. It's like Wingardium Leviosa.
Whoa!
It worked!
Robert Leviosa soaring through the air.
Steve, it worked!
And he sticks the landing
You saw it, right?
for a maximum point big air bonus.
Steve, am I a wizard now?
That perfect
Is that how it
run
works?
for Robert Leviosa adds 8 points to his score, bringing him up to 13.
I can't believe I could do magic.
Let's take another look. Here he comes down the track, full speed ahead.
Do I have to wear a hat?
He soars over the hay bales with his nose pointed up, but really kind of flattens it out as he comes down for the landing.
Look at that, he was levitating.
That's about as good a landing as you're going to get for the distance that he traveled. Here they go with the second race. Ulos has 7 points, Leviosa with 13.
Leviosa with the lead as he comes down the bridge.
A big gap between him and Fabulos. Let's see if he can do it again with the big air.
Here he goes.
And he crashes through the hay bales. He won't get the big air bonus, but he will take first place once again. That's going to add 5 more points to his score, bringing it up to 18 points for Robert Leviosa.
Fabulos ending the round with 10 points. That means he will be safe from elimination.
I know he must be breathing a sigh of relief. Keep in mind that the bottom 2 drivers in points at the end of this round will be going home.
Right now, it looks like it might be Jacob Chaplin and Alonso Torres.
Here we are with the last group of drivers. 2-time champion Stephen King going up against Jairus R. Stephen King in the Ford Escort Rally, Jairus driving the Toyota AE86. Stephen King with 6 points, Jairus only having 2.
Look at this, Jairus pulling ahead of the King.
And he wrecks coming off of that jump. Stephen King makes his way around him, and Stephen King crashes his way to victory.
A tough break for Jairus R. He's only going to get 1 point added to his score of 2. That means now he only has 3.
Oh no, wait a minute, look at that.
You know what, I take that back. He actually passed the second checkpoint just barely, so he'll actually get 2 points instead of the 1.
That still puts a lot of pressure on him in this race. He needs to at least score 7 points or more. That means bare minimum, he has to make it past the finish line.
Here's another look at Stephen King crashing his way past those hay bales. Such a beautiful sight.
Here we go, Stephen King with 11 points, Jairus R only with 4. He's out in the lead again.
Wow, look at that 8-6 go.
Jairus R is going for it. He's got a big lead over Stephen King.
Is he gonna go for the big air?
Jairus up on 2 wheels. Oh no! Jairus R so close to getting that 3rd checkpoint, and yet still so far away.
Uh-oh, we got a crew member on the ground.
Oh, that's not good, but we do have insurance for all the track crew members, I believe, correct, Steve?
I hope that guy's
You're
okay.
shaking your head.
At least he didn't take a beamer to the face.
Are you saying we don't have insurance? Dude, are you listening to music? Take the AirPods out of your... Come on, man.
Just look at the lead Jairus R had on Stephen King. I mean, that is a massive lead over the 2-time champion. But then he blows it right there.
Then get legal on the phone and make sure.
Superman Stephen King almost getting that big air bonus. Look at that.
Looks like his back tire just barely clips the top of that hay bale, and they all come tumbling down. Okay, so we are covered. All right, good. Stephen King ending this round with 16 points. Jairus R, unfortunately, with 6 points. That puts him all the way at the bottom, and he will be eliminated. But we have a 2-way tie between Alonso Torres and Jacob Chaplin. That means they're both going to have to race to see who will stay alive in this competition.
Oh yeah, another tiebreaker race.
Now the points scored in this tiebreaker race will not be added to their overall score. This will just be used to determine who will continue in the competition. Whichever driver it is will still have 7 points.
These guys are flying down the track.
Whoa!
Oh, yes!
We just had a double big air.
That was awesome.
For the first time in this event, and that was amazing.
And Jacob Chaplin actually stuck the landing in that MR2.
Yeah, that bonus point might be very critical. He's only down by 1 point because he stuck the landing. Here's another look.
Alonso Torres gets a lot of air, but he does not stick that landing.
That jump by Jacob Chaplin was near perfect. Here comes Alonso Torres. Look at Jacob Chaplin. Nice air. He lands a little bit on the nose, but he keeps it together to get that extra landing bonus point.
Alonso Torres with 7 points. Jacob Chaplin with 6.
Here we go. This race will determine who will continue on in Event 3 of the DRC. Right now, Jacob Chaplin is out in the lead.
Torres is falling behind.
Chaplin gets loose around the corner. Torres is getting on him.
We've got contact.
It's close, and Alonso Torres passes up Jacob Chaplin at the very last second to steal the victory and move on to round 3.
What an incredible finish. It seems like every time these guys go into a tiebreaker race, they leave it all on the track.
Yes, when the pressure is on, the DRC drivers deliver. Here's another look. Jacob Chaplin having some trouble around that corner, and right here, Alonso Torres spinning him around and then gains on him right at the last second to pass through that finish gate.
He left poor Jacob Chaplin sitting at the finish line.
And here are the results for round 2. Jacob Chaplin and Jairus R both eliminated. We have Robert Leviosa at the top with 18 points, Ryu Asada in 2nd place, Stephen King takes 3rd, Derek Workman is in 4th place, Fabulos in 5th, and Alonso Torres all the way at the bottom in 6th place. Welcome back to the 3D Bot Maker Diecast Rally Championship. Here we are with Event 3, Round 3.
Here's a look at the current standings. We have Robert Leviosa in first place with 18 points. He's followed by Ryu Asada with 17.
Then we have Stephen King in third place, followed by Derek Workman in fourth, Fabulos in fifth, and Alonso Torres all the way at the bottom. He only has 7 points going into this round.
He's going to really need a strong performance today. Otherwise, I think we're going to be saying bye-bye to the Beamer.
Here's our first matchup of the day. Robert Leviosa versus Alonso Torres. Leviosa driving the Volkswagen SP2 and Alonso Torres in the BMW.
Now, I understand there was some controversy about Leviosa's performance in the last race, so I promise not to use any Wingardium spells in this one.
I doubt that had anything. Whoa! Leviosa crashes into the trees.
Torres is in reverse. Can he make it?
And Alonso Torres will pick up the win, driving in reverse. That's going to bring his score up to 12. Meanwhile, Leviosa is upside down on his roof over by that group of trees. Let's see what happened there.
I think I know what happened as a level 17 wizard.
Is that what you are now?
Show some respect. In my expert opinion.
I think you forgot the air quotes with expert.
Respect. That looks to me like a levitation spell gone wrong.
Well, now that we're done with your expert analysis,
there's no need for air quotes.
Let's get back to reality with race 2.
You're so disrespectful to the Magic community.
Alonso Torres will be starting off on the inside with Robert Leviosa on the outside.
Again, it's pronounced, you know what? It's not even worth it.
Alonso Torres with the lead going into the canyon. Leviosa not far behind.
Uh-oh, he's off the track.
Leviosa closing in.
Oh!
Whoa, he just smashes.
Oh, man.
Alonso Torres through the hay bales past the finish line. That's going to add another 5 points to Alonso Torres' score. That means he's gone from 7 points to 17 in just this round.
Another disappointing race for Leviosa. He only adds 3 points to his score in this entire round.
You can see right there, Leviosa was going full speed ahead. He really had nowhere to go once Alonso got sideways in front of him. And unfortunately for him, he ended up pushing his competition past the finish line.
Robert Leviosa certainly lacking the magic that put him in first place in round 2.
Up next, we have Superman Ryu Asada.
Whoa, we already talked about that, 3D.
He'll be going up against Fabulos in the Ford Escort RS 1600.
The name Superman is already taken by Stephen King.
I agree that it's taken. It's being taken right now by Ryu Asada.
King is only behind Ryu by 1 point. I don't get what the fuss is about.
Maybe it's the high-flying spectacular put on by Ryu Asada race after race, and there he goes again, flying through the air with a Shoryuken.
Look, I'll admit that he gets some amazing air, but has he ever landed a jump once? Just one time?
No,
Well, then he can't be Superman.
Fine, we'll call him, I don't know, the Big Air King.
You can't call him the king. Stephen King is the king.
Is he really?
Besides, Ryu can't land a jump.
Yeah, but look at this big air. Look at that.
That is impressive.
He almost hit the crossbar of that scaffolding.
I'm just saying he needs to land at least one jump to have a title like that.
Here it is again.
Yeah, he's way up there.
Look at that height.
Look at that landing, or should I say wreck.
Wow, such a hater.
I'm not hating, I'm just saying he hasn't proved himself yet until he can land that jump.
Well, let's see what he does this time. Ryu Asada starting off on the outside lane this time. Fabulos on the inside.
It's a close race, they're side by side.
They're door to door going into the first jump. Whoa! Fabulos appeared to drive underneath
Wow.
Ryu Asada's car.
That was crazy. Somehow Ryu Asada managed to stay on his wheels. Let's take another look.
Here they go side by side into that first jump. Ryu Asada with a slight lead, but he lands partially off the track. At one point, Fabulos was underneath his car and managed to drift past that second checkpoint. Ryu Asada only picks up 1 point in that race for passing the first checkpoint. But if you look at the score, he's still 10 points ahead of Fabulos.
Now here comes the true king, the two-time champion, Stephen King, aka Superman, going up against Derek Workman.
Stephen King in the Ford Escort Rally. Derek Workman driving in the Audi Sport Quattro.
Another close race.
Stephen King pulls ahead going over the bridge. Derek Workman not far behind.
We got some drifting.
Both drivers spin around, and Stephen King just barely manages to make it past the finish line, going reverse. Meanwhile, Derek Workman only picks up 2 points for passing the first 2 checkpoints.
That's a tough break for Derek Workman. Right now, he is in danger of being eliminated.
Stephen King adds 5 points to his score, bringing it up to 21 points. So he will be safe. Derek Workman right now on the bubble. He needs to score at least 2 points in this race to stay alive. It's another close race into that first corner. Derek Workman with a slight lead.
He's going over.
Workman wrecks. Stephen King is all by himself. He spins around and passes crosses the finish line in reverse for the second time today.
It almost seems like Stephen King did that on purpose, just to make a point.
I was thinking the same thing. I wonder if he's trying to recreate that reverse big air that he pulled off in the finals of the last event.
Yeah, that was an amazing finish. Make sure you check out that video if you haven't seen it already.
Derek Workman narrowly escapes a catastrophe. He had his wheels off the side going over the bridge. That wreck could have been a lot worse than it was.
Yes, and thankfully there were no spectators in that area.
Here's another look at Stephen King pulling off that power slide. He didn't have anywhere near the speed he needed to clear that jump, but it was entertaining regardless.
Consistent racing by Stephen King so far throughout this event. He has won every single race he's been in.
And that's why the King is back on top with 26 points. Ryu Asada is in second place with 25. Robert Leviosa is in third place with 21. And Alonso Torres in fourth place with 17 points.
It looks like we'll be saying goodbye to Derek Workman and Fabulos.
Welcome back to the 3D Bot Maker Diecast Rally Championship. Here we are for the final round in Event 3.
Let's take a look at the standings. We've got Superman Stephen King in the Ford Escort Rally in first place with 26 points, followed by Ryu Asada in the Lancia Delta Integrale with 25.
Robert Leviosa in the Volkswagen SP2 is in third place with 21, and Alonso Torres all the way at the bottom once again with 17.
Alonso Torres driving in the BMW 3.0 CSL. He'll be going up against the real Superman, Stephen King.
We haven't seen a whole lot of high-flying action from Stephen King this event, but with this track, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Race Canyon is unpredictable. You never know if someone's going to have a smooth run or end up in a tree.
Or hit a spectator. Here goes Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes for the big air, and he gets it.
The King is here, 3D. That's what I'm talking about. Superman Stephen King.
Superman is back in the house.
What do you mean back? He's always been here. He's been winning race after race.
Yeah, but we haven't seen a big air like that from him since round 1.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, King is more of a distance jumper, not a height jumper. If we still had the old big air jump lines, he would have been racking up the points.
That is true. The hay bales are a completely different type of challenge. Superman lands that one on the nose of his car, so he will not get the landing bonus. But he does add 7 points to his total score.
And don't forget about Torres, he also got the big air bonus right behind Stephen King.
I believe that's the second double big air we've had in this event.
I think so.
This time Torres is in the lead going down the bridge.
Stephen King not far behind.
Let's see how they manage this last section of track. Torres has his speed.
Here he goes.
And he gets the big air bonus again.
Big air.
Alonso Torres with an impressive performance in this final round. He brought his score up from 17 points to 29.
We've seen some real solid racing by Andrew Torres in the last 2 rounds. The problem is, he's been trying to make up for what happened in round 2. This may be a case where it's just too little, too late.
That's true. The DRC is based on the accumulated points throughout the entire event, so being consistent is really the key to winning the championship.
Hey, consistency is Stephen King's middle name.
Really? I thought it was Superman.
And Superman.
So it's Stephen Superman Consistency.
It doesn't matter what his name is. He's the DRC champ.
Moving on to our next 2 drivers, we have Ryu Asada in the Lancia Delta Integrale going up against Robert Leviosa driving the Volkswagen SP2.
Ryu Asada is probably the biggest threat to Stephen King, but you've also got to watch out for that levitating Leviosa.
Ryu with the lead coming out of the corner.
Let's see if Leviosa can make it past that jump.
Ryu spins out of control, and Ryu gets pushed past the finish line, going in reverse.
Wow.
I think if we still had the big air line, that would have been a reverse big air.
But notice once again, Ryu Asada cannot land that jump.
Yeah, but come on, he was going in reverse and just got hit by Robert Leviosa.
It doesn't matter if he's going forwards or backwards, he can't land the jump.
Ryu Asada does, however, win the race, so that will add 5 points to his total score. That brings him up to 30, which means Alonso Torres will not be advancing on to the final race.
It's not looking good for Robert Leviosa either. He only has 24 points. He needs to win the next race, get the big air bonus, and hope Ryu wrecks somewhere after the first checkpoint to have any chance of continuing on.
Well, the odds are certainly stacked against him, but I mean, you never know. We have seen drivers wreck before the first checkpoint, so here they go. It's a close race going into the first corner. Robert Leviosa has the lead. They pass the first checkpoint.
Whoa.
Robert Leviosa wrecks.
Well, that's all over.
Ryu Asada gets stuck behind Robert Leviosa's car, bringing this race to a sudden halt. And that is going to be it. Both drivers did pass the second checkpoint, so they both add 2 points to their score. That means Ryo Asada will be joining Stephen King in the final race. He has 32 points going into it. Stephen King has 36, so there's a 4-point deficit going into that final race.
Leviosa certainly had a lot of trouble with that jump in this event.
At least this time he didn't end up in the trees.
The trees probably would have been a little softer.
As you can see from the replay, Ryo Asada had nowhere to go. Leviosa's car was completely blocking the entire road. That's going to hurt him going into the finals. A 4-point deficit isn't impossible to overcome, but when it's a close race, every point counts.
That's definitely true, and I think it's going to be a close one.
Alonso Torres ends the competition for Team BMW with 29 points. Robert Leviosa takes 4th with his Volkswagen SP2.
Don't go anywhere. The final race is coming up after the break here on the DRC.
Welcome back to the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. It is time for the Event 3 Finals.
Superman Stephen King versus Ryo Asada.
Ryo Asada entered this competition making a big impression with his high-flying jumps, leading many to ask the question, is it a bird or a plane?
Don't go there, 3D.
He's driving in that Hot Wheels prototype car sent to us by HWC Jimmy from Mattel.
I gotta say, I can't wait to see the production version of that car.
Same here. Stephen King, a man that needs no introduction, the 2-time DRC champion, started off this event with a clean big air. And though he hasn't been able to repeat it, he has consistently been winning race after race.
Stephen King is a rally racing veteran, and he's driving like one. While Ryo's been impressing everyone with his jumps, Stephen King has been racking up the points.
This is it. 2 races to determine the DRC champion for Event 3.
Ryo is down by 4 points, but he could easily make that up with a big air and a win.
Ryo all over the track on that second turn. He's sideways. And both drivers come to a stop. They both passed the second checkpoint, so that means 2 points will be added to each of their scores. That pretty much keeps things right where they are. Ryo Asada still down by 4 points.
That was Ryo Asada's race to lose right there.
Yeah, he had the lead right here going into the first jump, but right here you can see he had trouble landing it, hits the sidewall with his tire, and that sent his car into that turn at a bad angle.
We're right back to where we were with the last race, but now the pressure is on for Ryo Asada. He needs to gain 4 points over Stephen King, or it's all over.
If he could win the race and get the big air bonus, he would tie. That's providing that Stephen King doesn't also get the big air.
This is it. Rookie driver enthusiasm versus the seasoned veteran.
Ryo Asada off to an early lead as he goes into the first corner. That lead's getting bigger. Ryo's clean over that jump. He skids into the side wall.
Can he get the big air?
No, he does not. Ryo Asada has been clearing those hay bales race after race. But when it came down to doing it in the finals, his lack of experience caused him to crack under the pressure.
Stephen King winning his 3rd championship by 2 points.
Yeah, you've got to give Ryo Asada some respect. Coming within 2 points of the now 3-time DRC champion, that is nothing to be ashamed of.
Not at all. I think with a little more practice, a little more experience on his belt, he might come back and take the championship in the future.
You can see right there, that tap of the wall really slowed him down, and he just did not have the speed to make that jump.
I know he must be kicking himself over that one. If he had just made that jump, he would have tied up the race.
That certainly would have been exciting, but that's just the way it is sometimes in the DRC.
You know what they say, rally ain't easy.
Did you just...
What?
You just came up with a new slogan?
Steve, get that on a shirt.
And here's a look at the final score. Stephen King ends Event 3 with 41 points, Ryo Asada with 39, Alonso Torres with 29, and Robert Leviosa with 26.
And there he is, the Man of Steel, the Man of Tomorrow, the last son of Krypton, the 3-time DRC champion, Superman Stephen King.
We have some local celebrities joining him down here at the finish. It's the Crazy Brothers, Crazy Jimmy and Crazy James.
Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy.
2D.
When are you going to race in the DRC, bro?
2D, he's...
Come on, man.
He's to the right of you.
You too, James.
You're looking the wrong way.
Really? I swear he was over there.
Welcome back to the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. It's time for the 4th and final event in the 2020 season of the DRC.
Superman Stephen King with 3 wins under his belt can he make it 4?
Standing in his way of a 4-peat are 7 new challengers. The Ford Fiesta, the Volvo 850 Estate,
The Renault Megane Trophy,
the Pikes Peak Celica,
the Alpine A110,
the Chrysler Pacifica,
and the Pontiac Fiero.
Up first, we have the 3-time champion, Superman Stephen King, in the Ford Escort Rally.
That guy's such a legend, he has his own t-shirt.
That's right, we have that new Stephen King t-shirt in the merch store. Make sure you check that out along with the new Crazy Brothers shirt.
I've got both of those on order.
The artwork on those shirts done by Glenn Harding. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. He sells his own original art and also does custom designs.
Here we go, Stephen King at the start. Let's go, Team Superman.
Stephen King already a legend in the DRC, but if he can win this 4th and final event of the 2020 season, that's going to put him in the Hall of Fame, I think.
Definitely. Here comes to the jump.
And he nails the landing. What a
Wow.
way to start off this event by Stephen King.
That was an awesome way to start things off. Stephen King with the big air. Let's take one more look at that.
That was a beautiful jump. Look at that height, the distance. We should take this time to go over the big air bonus. You'll receive 2 points for clearing both rows of hay bales, along with an additional landing bonus if you land it on the track. You can only get the landing bonus if you clear both rows of hay bales.
Also, if the driver in front of you knocks over the hay bales, that will ruin your chances at getting a big air bonus.
If the cars go over the hay bales at the same time and one gets knocked over, the judges will review the footage and make a decision.
This seems complicated for a bonus point.
Well, there always seems to be someone confused about how it works, so we're trying to make it very clear.
Up next, we have John Neff in the 2012 Ford Fiesta.
This car is sponsored by the Sub 4RA YouTube channel. It's got a shorter wheelbase, so I'm not quite sure how it's going to handle the track.
Well, it's not as short as the Mini or the Fiat 500 that we raced in the past.
Yeah, it's not that short.
Rest in peace, Hungarian Polar Bear.
John Neff looking good so far, and I spoke too soon as he slides to a stop and picks up a total of 2 points.
We've seen a lot of rookie drivers have trouble on that last corner.
Yes, learning how to navigate that corner early on is critical to success in the DRC.
It's a real make or break point.
Up next, we have the first station wagon in the Diecast Rally Championship. It's Tom Hurst in the Volvo 850 Estate.
That Volvo is sponsored by 3D Botmaker Racing.
How do you think this one's going to do?
Let's see, it's a longer vehicle, not too top heavy. I think it might do well.
Here he comes to the first jump. Lands it, looks good coming out of that corner. Is he going to go for the big air?
Oh, talk about a wipeout.
Tom Hurst trying to get that big vehicle over the hay bales, but just could not get it high enough up in the air.
Looks like he landed on top of one of them, and that rolled him over.
Here's the replay.
Yep, right there.
A rough landing for Tom Hurst, but he does pick up 3 points.
So far, no one's even coming close to Stephen King's score of 6.
6 is a perfect score in this round. Up next, we have Angie Stig driving in the Renault Megane Trophy, sponsored by Sub 4RA.
Wait a minute, that's the Stig?
It could be. I thought Ben Collins was the Stig,
We've
but
got the Stig in the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship.
it's Angie Stig, not the Stig.
I think it might be the Stig.
Angie approaching the final jump. Angie nails it, but comes off the track.
That right there was definitely some Stig material.
It was a great run. That's going to get Angie Stig 5 points on the board. 3 points for passing the checkpoints and 2 points for that big air. She did come off the track at the end, so she will not get the extra landing bonus.
You know, I was starting to think this event was going to be a cakewalk for Stephen King, but now that the Stig is here, things just got real.
Angie Stig definitely looking like a real competitor in this event.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. You're watching the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. We've still got 4 drivers to go. Who's up next?
We've got Jay Viper in the Pikes Peak Celica.
Jay Viper driving for the Sub 4RA YouTube channel.
It's a long car. It's got a big wing on the back. I think this thing can fly if it gets enough speed.
I believe this is the first time we've seen the Pikes Peak Celica on the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League channel.
I think most of these cars are new to the channel.
And Jay Viper tries to get that big air bonus, but ends up toppling down all the hay bales.
Hey, it was a nice landing, and he picks up 3 points for the run.
Let's take another look at the jump. He just does not have enough speed to get over it, but he does land it nicely.
Next, we have Andres Gutierrez.
Andres Gutierrez driving in the Alpine A110. This one's sponsored by Dave Akers Customs.
I like this car a lot. It's blue, sleek, low to the ground. Reminds me a lot of myself.
How does that remind you of yourself? You're none of those things.
So you don't think I'm sleek and low to the ground?
No, you're big and tall.
What a...
Andres approaching the
Whoa,
jump.
baby.
Whoa!
That was crazy.
Wow!
That may have been the biggest jump we've ever seen in the DRC.
You know, Dave Akers Customs may need to start the Alpine Space Program because Andres Gutierrez just left lower Earth orbit with that jump.
Look at that distance and that height. That is ridiculous.
Let's take another look at that jump from another angle.
Just look at where he lands this jump.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That is ridiculous. Andres Gutierrez will pick up 5 points for that run.
I think we may be looking at another contender for the championship.
I think so too. Up next we have Harry Recker driving in the Chrysler Pacifica.
This will be the first time we've had a van take the track in the DRC.
I'm not too sure about this one. It's a van, it's a tall vehicle. I think it may just topple over on that last turn.
There's only one driver I know that can handle this track in a van.
Who's that?
Granny D.
Oh yeah, I thought she was going to be in a race.
She was, but it was going to interfere with her bingo.
Harry Recker with a solid run there as he bulldozes his way through that wall of hay bales to pick up 3 points.
I gotta say, I'm impressed with that run. I didn't expect him to make it to the finish line.
Let's look at the replay. He actually got quite a bit of distance on that jump. Look at that.
A solid run by Harry Recker.
And now for our final driver of the day.
That's my boy.
A man who needs no introduction.
Give it to him anyways, 3D.
The Fiero driving Ferrari champion.
Talk about it.
Crazy Jimmy.
Yes, he's back.
Now it's going to be interesting to see how he can do in the DRC. We know he can drive well on Race Mountain.
No!
Whoa, no! Jimmy's over.
No, Jimmy, no!
Wow, after all the anticipation and build-up over Crazy Jimmy coming to the DRC, that's not what we were hoping for.
Oh, man. He'll make a comeback in round 2.
On a positive note, he did have an impressive roof slide. Look at this right here. Slides all the way around the big turn there and past the second checkpoint.
Can he get an extra point for that?
No, he can't.
Darn.
Crazy Jimmy will wrap up round 1 with 2 points.
Hey, I'm not giving up on Jimmy yet. This is his first time in rally. He's a fast learner.
And here's a look at the results after round 1. We have Stephen King on top with 6 points. Angie Stig and Andres Gutierrez with 5, Tom Hurst, Jay Viper, and Harry Recker with 3 points, and John Neff and Crazy Jimmy at the bottom with 2 points. Welcome back to the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. Here we are with Event 4, Round 2.
Here's a look at the current standings. Our top drivers are Stephen King in the Ford Escort Rally, Angie Stig in the Renault Megane Trophy, and Andres Gutierrez in the Alpine A110.
Let's take a look at the first matchup of the day. We have Andres Gutierrez driving for Dave Akers Customs going up against Harry Recker driving for 3D Botmaker Racing.
Harry Recker in the Chrysler Pacifica. Let's see how that van does going head to head.
My money's on the Alpine. That car is low to the ground, and he had that amazing big air in the first. Whoa, what's going on there?
Gutierrez switching lanes.
Oh, and we've got a major wreck at
man.
the beginning of this round.
Whoa.
What a way to start things off.
Both drivers upside down. I think they made contact while going over that first jump. That was a bad wreck.
Yeah, that's a rough way to start off this round. They do get 1 point each for passing the first checkpoint, so that's something. Here's another look at that. Andres Gutierrez going over that middle divider.
Right here. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Harry Recker just plowed right into him.
Harry Recker certainly living up to his name right there.
Look at that. The cameraman just barely getting out of the way.
Did Andres Gutierrez's car hit a spectator? I think he did.
Oh, no, not again.
Here's another look at that.
Here it comes.
Oh, and he
Ouch.
hits, right in the head. Wow.
Oh, man. That's going to leave a mark.
I want to assure everyone at home that those people did sign a waiver, so everything's going to be just fine.
Well, that's great, but are they actually okay?
We've got the track crew out there working on them right now.
Where's the medic?
They're busy helping out the drivers who just wrecked.
Is he pouring motor oil on that woman?
Well, he's a mechanic, not a medic.
It just seems like we should invest a little bit more in track safety, at least for the DRC.
We already printed up hundreds of waiver forms. I mean, what more do you want?
More medics, safety fences, just moving those people out of that section.
That seems like a little much. Here we go at the second race. Andres Gutierrez with the lead. Going over that jump, he lands it. Whoa!
Oh,
Harry Recker
not again.
wrecks. And Andres Gutierrez slides to a stop to pick up 2 points.
What a shame. I was hoping to see some more big air action from Andres Gutierrez.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did not even make it to the finish line. He picks up a total of 3 points in this round. Harry Recker only with 2 points. Here's that wreck again.
Wow, Harry Recker jumped straight into that boulder.
At least it wasn't into a spectator.
He actually came pretty close to doing just that.
Another wild wreck by Harry Recker. They should call him Harry the Wrecker.
He finishes round 2 with only 5 points. I don't think that's going to be enough to keep him in this competition.
Yeah, the bottom 2 drivers in points will be eliminated at the end of this round.
Here's our next matchup. We have Angie Stig driving the Renault Megane Trophy and John Neff in the Ford Fiesta.
Angie Stig with a good performance in round 1, tying for second place with 5 points. Let's see how she does in round 2.
It's a close race so far. Angie Stig with the lead.
She does well through the first jump around that last corner, and here she's going for it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Angie Stig.
That's how you do it.
Sticks the landing to get a perfect run.
That's a major boost in points. She gets 3 points for all the checkpoints, 3 points for the big air because she gets the landing bonus, and 2 points for coming in first place.
John Neff, on the other hand, only picks up 2 points. He does not pass the finish line. Here's another look at that beautiful big air.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome. Clean.
Love it.
Super clean.
That right there gets the chef's kiss. Mwah.
The front end of that car kissing the sand just brings it to a complete stop, and that is one way to stick the big air landing bonus.
Here we go with race 2.
John Neff is going to need to pick up some points right here if he wants to stay alive. He only has 4.
A close race through the corner.
John Neff in the lead this time. Side by side through the jump. Angie Stig passes on the inside.
Here she goes.
And Angie Stig flies through the air.
Another one.
I'm not sure if she got the big air bonus there or not. We're going to have to go to the replay. But that was awesome.
Angie Stig sending a message in this round. She is a serious competitor.
It looks like Angie Stig did knock down the top hay bale. The question is, did she knock over the lower level? Let's take one more look at that.
I don't think she did.
Here she goes. Knocks down the top one.
Just the top one.
No, the bottom one was in place until John Neff knocked it over, so Angie Stig will pick up 1 point.
Nice.
For the big air bonus.
Wow, still very impressive. Angie Stig ends this round with 19 points. John Neff with 7.
I'm not sure if 7 points is going to be enough to make it out of this round, but we're going to have to wait and see.
Don't go anywhere. We've got more racing coming up after the break.
And welcome back to round 2 of Event 4 in the 2020 season of the DRC.
In our next matchup, we have Tom Hurst in the Volvo 850 going up against Jay Viper in the Pikes Peak Celica.
An interesting matchup in vehicles here, to say the least. A station wagon and a car designed for mountain racing.
Hey, that Volvo's been equipped for rally racing.
We'll see. Right now, Jay Viper out in the lead in that Pikes Peak Celica. Whoa, he goes up on 2 wheels.
Here comes Tom.
And Tom Hurst makes the pass right at the finish line to take the win.
See?
Wow, that was impressive.
You can't judge a rally car by its cover.
I guess not. Let's take another look at that. Right there, Jay Viper up on 2 wheels. That slows him down, and Tom Hurst pulls ahead at the end to take that win right before he gets knocked over.
Tom Hurst will pick up 5 points for that run. Jay Viper will pick up 3.
You know, if Tom Hurst can get that Volvo over those hay bales, I will be super impressed.
You know, it's a big vehicle, but if he gets enough speed, he might be able to do it.
Here we go at the start of race 2. We've got Jay Viper on the inside lane, pulling ahead through that corner.
Tom Hurst falling behind.
Jay Viper through the big turn. He's going for the big air.
Come on, Viper.
Oh! And Jay Viper wrecks coming off that jump.
Ouch.
Ends up on the outside of the track.
You know they say go big or go home. I'm thinking Jay Viper should have went home on that one.
He almost made it over. Look right here. His back end just clips the hay bales, and that sends his car flipping over.
It was nice of him to clear those hay bales out of the way for Tom Hurst, because there's no way he was making it over.
Tom Hurst and Jay Viper entered this round tied with 3 points. They will end this round still tied, now with 11 points. And now it's time for what fans have been waiting for a long time.
Oh yeah, let me do this one, 3D.
Go ahead.
It's a battle of the ages. Superman Stephen King versus Crazy Jimmy.
Okay, so what are you, Team Superman or Team Crazy Jimmy?
Oh no, I can't pick favorites between those two.
Crazy Jimmy out in the lead in that Fiero. Makes it over the jump, a little squirrely there.
Stephen King on his tail.
Oh!
Wow.
And it looks like Stephen King gave Crazy Jimmy a bump over the hay bales.
Stephen King, a real class act right there.
We're going to have to see the replay on that one.
Here they go. Yeah, Jimmy got over the hay bales clean.
I'm not sure if he would have got over it without that boost from Stephen King from behind. Let's take one more look at that.
Here it is.
Yep, you can see Crazy Jimmy was clearly over the hay bales before Stephen King came through and knocked him down.
Crazy Jimmy now tied with Stephen King. Both of them have 9 points.
A nice comeback so far by Crazy Jimmy. Remember in round 1, he wrecked and only got 2 points.
Here we go this time. Crazy Jimmy is on the inside lane.
Crazy Jimmy certainly got the speed over Stephen King. He's flying down the track.
Uh-oh.
Oh! Jimmy flips, but he's still going.
Here comes Superman.
Stephen King slams into his side, and Crazy Jimmy makes it past the finish line with the help of Superman Stephen King. That was wild.
Stephen King with his second assist of the day, helping Crazy Jimmy make it across the finish line. I don't know if it's bad luck or if they're working together.
Well, that assist is going to push Crazy Jimmy up to second place with 14 points. Stephen King ending this round with 11.
Right here, it looked like it was all over for Crazy Jimmy, but Stephen King slaps him on the rear end and says, get on past that finish line.
We've got to see that one more time. Crazy Jimmy, was that a flip? I don't know what that was, but he went out of control, and then Stephen King ends up wrecking off the side. Jimmy makes it past the finish line somehow. I don't get it.
Don't try to explain it, 3D. Just be in the moment.
Here's a look at the standings coming out of round 2. Angie Stig way up on top with 19 points. Crazy Jimmy in second place with 14. Stephen King, Tom Hurst, and Jay Viper all tied with 11 points. Andres Gutierrez with 8. And we will be saying goodbye to John Neff and Harry Wrecker.
That's a big comeback for Crazy Jimmy, and he has Stephen King to thank for it.
And welcome back. It's time for round 3 in the 4th event of the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship.
Here's a look at the current standings. We have Angie Stig on top with 19 points, driving for sub 4A. Crazy Jimmy in second with 14 points, and a three-way tie between Stephen King, Tom Hurst, and Jay Viper.
Here's our first matchup of the day. We have Superman Stephen King going up against Tom Hurst.
Both drivers are tied with 11 points.
Stephen King, the 3-time DRC champion, he's going to need to put some points on the scoreboard if he wants a chance at a 4-peat.
Here we go. It's a close race so far going into that first corner.
Stephen King with a small lead going over that hill. Tom Hurst trying to pass.
They're side by side.
They're approaching the final jump.
Whoa!
Whoa, that was awesome.
A double jump. We haven't seen too many of those.
That was a very close finish. We're going to have to look at the replay to see who even won that race. It doesn't appear anyone got the big air bonus. Let's take another look at that.
Tom Hurst was gaining on him right here.
Ooh, I don't know.
That was super close.
We're going to need to slow that down and look at it from a different angle. Here's a closer look from this camera.
Let's see.
Oh, man, I don't know. I mean, the camera is kind of behind the finish line, so our angle is not lined up exactly with the finish line.
I'm not sure what the judges are going to do on this one.
You know, we've never had such a close finish in all 4 events in the DRC.
Yeah, this was definitely a photo finish. We just don't have a good photo.
Okay, this just in, they are awarding Stephen King the big air bonus. You can see right there his tires never touched the hay bales.
Now we're just waiting to see who actually won this race.
Yeah, that's the tougher question. From one angle, it looks like it might have been Jay Hurst. The other one, they look dead even.
Here it is.
And it's a tie.
Oh man, that's the first tie we've ever had.
The judges are taking the 2-point bonus for getting first place and splitting it up between the 2 drivers, so they're both getting 1 bonus point each for that race.
Wow, well that's an exciting start to this round.
Here we go at the start of race 2. We have Tom Hurst on the inside lane this time.
Stephen King currently has 17 points. Tom Hurst has 15.
Tom Hurst taking the lead in this one as they go over the bridge. Stephen King falling way behind in this one.
Let's see if Tom can make that jump.
He's going for it.
Oh, whoa! He tried.
Superman Stephen King with a huge leap at the end there. An impressive jump, but unfortunately the hay bales were already knocked over by Tom Hurst.
You know, we may need to bring back the big air bonus lines.
Yeah, maybe a combination of the 2.
So you want to make it even more complicated.
Well, it was your idea.
Look at this amazing jump right there. He should have got some kind of points for that.
Well, we can't change the rules in the middle of the event just because you're a Stephen King fan.
We could.
We're not. Stephen King and Tom Hurst end this round tied with 20 points each.
Up next, we have the hometown hero, Crazy Jimmy, going up against Jay Viper.
Since when did Crazy Jimmy become a hometown hero?
When he revitalized the passion of the Fiero.
The passion of the Fiero?
Oh yeah, it's the next big thing.
How can a car from the past be the next big thing? I mean,
don't question it.
Can't be next.
Don't question it.
Anyways, Crazy Jimmy is in the lead, lands the jump, he's coming to the finish, slowing down.
Whoa,
oh!
What happened there?
Crazy Jimmy comes off the track. I don't know if he blew a tire or something, but Jay Viper takes the win there and will bring his score up to 16 points to match Jimmy.
Man, Jimmy had that race. He was in the lead. Then he started slowing down right before the finish. Something's got to be wrong with that car.
Let's take another look. Here he goes through that final corner. He was looking good, hits the side wall, and then right there just drifts off to the left. I don't know what's going on.
That was definitely a disappointing run for Crazy Jimmy.
It could have been his steering. It could have been a tire. He could have been drinking.
Hey, don't start rumors about Jimmy.
Here we go with race 2. Jay Viper will be starting off on the inside lane.
Jimmy starting off with an early lead.
Here they come around the corner. Jay Viper pulls ahead now. Over the hill, and Crazy Jimmy passes on the inside.
There we go. Come on, Jimmy.
Can he get the big air? No, he does not. Crazy Jimmy goes through that hay bale wall sideways, but he will pick up 2 bonus points for the win.
Not a great round for Crazy Jimmy, but he does come out with 21 points. That's not bad.
Here's another look at that sideways finish. I think his front end hit the side of that scaffolding. Crazy Jimmy will end this round with 21 points. That's better than everyone else so far. And Jay Viper with 19 points.
And here's our last group of drivers. We have Angie Stig going up against Andres Gutierrez.
Angie Stig has been the front runner in this event with superb driving skills. I'm excited to see what she does today.
Andres Gutierrez made a big splash in the first round. I'm hoping to see some more big air from him.
Here they go over the bridge into the first jump. Andres Gutierrez wipes out.
Here comes the Stig.
Will she get the big air? Oh! Angie Stig clears the hay bales, but overshoots the landing and ends up on her roof.
She may not have stuck the landing this time, but that's still a lot of points right there.
Yeah, she's up to 26 points now on the scoreboard, and she still has one more race to go in this round. Meanwhile, Andres Gutierrez has only 9 points. He only passed 1 checkpoint, and I'm afraid there is no way for him to continue on to the 4th and final round.
What a shame. He started off this competition so well and just went downhill from there.
Well, remember, he did wreck off that big air in the first round. I'm not sure if that did some damage to his car or just got to his nerves.
Let's see if he can redeem himself right here in his last race of the DRC.
Andres pulling ahead going into that corner. He's got the lead now.
He lands that jump.
Maybe we'll get one last big air. No, he slides sideways and blocks Angie Stig from making it to the finish line.
Oh man, I could already hear the upset fans about that one.
Angie Stig still, though, with a huge lead in points. She ends this round with 28 points. That's a 7-point lead over second place.
That was looking like a good run for Andres Gutierrez, but then he falls apart right here at the end.
And here's a look at the final score for round 3. Angie Stig on top with 28 points. Crazy Jimmy in second place with 21. Stephen King and Tom Hurst tied for third with 20 points. And we will be saying goodbye to Jay Viper and Andres Gutierrez.
That's 3 drivers for 3D Botmaker Racing and 1 for Sub4Ray, making it to the final round.
Right now, Angie Stig is looking unstoppable in that Renault Megane trophy. But as we know, anything can happen in the
DRC.
Welcome back to the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. Here we are for the 4th and final round of Event 4.
We've got 4 drivers going into this final round. Angie Stig on top with 28 points. Crazy Jimmy in second with 21. And Stephen King and Tom Hurst tied with 20.
And here's our first matchup. We have Angie Stig, the newcomer, going up against the seasoned veteran Stephen King. Angie Stig has 28 points, Stephen King with only 20. Now drivers can potentially score up to 8 points per race. So Stephen King still has a chance, but he's gonna need to pick up the pace right now.
Right now, Angie Stig is out in the lead. Whoa, now.
Whoa, Angie Stig spins around. Stephen King makes contact, then he wrecks. Angie Stig is still going down the track, and she makes it past the finish line.
Wow.
How did she do that?
That was impressive. That race certainly didn't go her way, but she still managed to take first place.
And I hate to say it, but I do not see how Stephen King is going to make a comeback at this point. He only scored 1 point on that race. Look at that right there. Angie Stig pulling a 180 maneuver going up that hill. I don't think that was intended.
I'm just amazed that she was able to correct it and then bring that car all the way to the finish line.
Unfortunately for Stephen King, that caused him to lose control, and he did not make it to the finish.
Here we go. Stephen King needs a perfect run this time if he wants any chance at moving on to the final round.
Angie Stig back out in the lead. That lead's getting bigger. Stephen King is still in it.
I think the Stig's going for the big air.
Here it is. Whoa!
Oh, yeah.
A big air indeed by Angie Stig.
That's what I'm talking about.
She comes off the track, so she will not get the extra landing bonus point. But that's still 7 points for that run, bringing her score up to 40.
Uh-oh, we've got 2 spectators on the ground.
Oh, that's not good. I hope they just passed out due to the excitement.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it happened.
Here's a look at the replay. Angie Stig goes up and over the hay bales. Right there, she comes off the side of the track. We can't see from that angle what happened.
Here it is from a different angle.
Beautiful jump there. Her spoiler's a little crooked.
Oh,
wow.
We've got a man down.
I guess the good news here is the car itself. Why'd the other guy fall?
Probably the excitement.
Well, Angie's car did not actually make contact with the spectator. It was the camera. Right there, she hits the camera hits the guy, and then the other guy just passes out.
I like how he's still cheering even after he gets knocked down to the ground.
That's a true fan indeed, and the track crew is back out there helping the spectators get back up on their feet.
Is that guy doing the motor oil thing again?
Hey, it worked last time, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
All right, here's the score. Angie Stig now has 40 points. Stephen King has 24.
I think it's safe to say that Stephen King's reign has come to an end.
What a shame. He should have retired the last race.
Yeah, you know, sometimes champs just don't know when to get out.
Well, we've still got one more champ in this race, Crazy Jimmy in that Fiero.
Crazy Jimmy will be going up against Tom Hurst in the Volvo.
With Angie Stig sitting at 40 points, if these guys don't score enough in this round, there might not even be a need for a final race.
Yeah, these guys certainly need to put some points on the board. Crazy Jimmy in the lead. Whoa! Ooh. Jimmy almost wrecks, but he holds on to it, and he makes it. Wow. That's one way to make it past the finish line.
You got to admire his enthusiasm right there.
Crazy Jimmy attempting a sideways big air, but he brings down the hay bales.
That's why they call him Crazy Jimmy.
He does pick up 5 points for the run, bringing his score up to 26. That's a little closer to 40, but not much.
If he can get a big air on the next one, he might be in contention.
I think if he dials down the crazy just a little bit, he might do a little better.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Jimmy's crazy dial only goes one way, and that's up.
Well, then maybe he needs to crank it up even higher so he can make it over those hay bales.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried doing it upside down.
That wouldn't surprise me either. Here they go with the second race. This time Tom Hurst starting off on the inside lane.
They're neck and neck coming out of that corner.
Crazy Jimmy pulling into the lead. Lands the jump. Tom Hurst is out. He wrecks. Crazy Jimmy spins around.
Come on, Jimmy, you can make it.
Oh!
Did he pass the finish?
I'm not sure. He's so close. We've got to look at that from a different angle. Here we go.
Yeah, he's got it.
Looks like Crazy Jimmy gets it by just the very edge of his bumper. It is touching the hay bale, and right there you can see he just barely passes the line of the finish. The first part of the scaffolding is the finish line, and the judges are giving it to him. What a great run Tom Hurst has had this event, but it is the end of the road for him right here.
That's some George of the Jungle right there. Watch out for that tree.
Is it just me, or are these DRC events getting more and more dangerous?
The stakes are high. These drivers are putting it all on the track, and I, for one, love it.
Let's take one more look at that. Both drivers coming off that jump at an angle, and Tom Hurst's front end just catches that tree.
I hope that tree is okay.
And here's the score going into the final race. It's going to be Angie Stig versus Crazy Jimmy. Angie Stig with 40 points. Crazy Jimmy with 31.
Jimmy certainly got his work cut out for him. That's a 9-point deficit. But if anyone can pull it off, it's him.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it will be time for the final race. Welcome back. It's time for the final race in Event 4 of the 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Championship. Angie Stig, the newcomer, has completely been dominating in this race with her consistency and high-flying action.
Angie Stig is representing for Sub 4A and that Renault Megane trophy.
She'll be facing off against the Ferrari champion, but rally rookie, Crazy Jimmy.
Crazy Jimmy is driving in the Fiero and is sponsored by 3D Botmaker Racing.
Crazy Jimmy is down by 9 points. If he does not win this race, it will be all over.
Angie Stig starting off on the inside lane.
Jimmy off to an early lead as they go around the first corner. Angie Stig pulling ahead now.
Come on, Jimmy, pick it up.
And Jimmy wrecks!
No.
Angie Stig still in it. And she sticks the landing.
Wow.
And put a cork in this one. Or put a nail in the coffin.
Man.
Whatever the phrase is, this is over and done. We have a new 3D Botmaker Diecast Rally Champion, and it is Angie Stig.
You know, I think Jimmy just needs to stick to road racing.
Yeah, I think so.
Hats off to Angie Stig. I think she's had one of the best runs we've ever seen in the history of the DRC.
Yeah, I think she's come in first almost every race. And she's also perfected the art of the big air and the landing. Look at that.
That right there is the work of a big air specialist.
Absolutely amazing. Let's see from this angle. Up and over, and just nails that landing.
Well, if there was going to be a successor to Stephen King, Angie Stig fits the bill.
And here are the drivers who competed in this event, paying their respects to the new champion in the DRC, Angie Stig.
An historic day here on the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League channel.
We'd like to thank everyone for joining us in Event 4 of the DRC. We've got more exciting things planned for this channel, so make sure you keep it tuned right here on the 3D Botmaker Diecast Racing League,
the home of diecast sports action racing.